Yeah, Michael Bay was quite the genius when he made these movies. Yeah, I mean, the details on the Autobots and Decepticons were quite remarkable too. Never before has anyone ever experienced peak sci-fi level such as this. Yeah. What was your favorite part of this first movie?
What was my favorite part was quite frankly the first time they introduced Optimus. The
Yep.
first time they introduced him.
Yeah. Yeah, mine was the final battle in Mission City in this movie. Yeah, yeah, it was quite amazing. They started out now this movie they started out with quite a scare for folks, and that would be the Decepticon called Blackout. Yep. How familiar are you with Blackout, the
Not
payload
very much, I'm
Decepticon?
afraid.
Yeah. I'm not sure why Michael Bay would have. Ah, Rocket Raider. Thanks for checking in on us. Yep, this is it, Rocket Raider, the Bayverse stream. And here you have the first Transformer to appear in the live action movies. Yeah. I don't understand why they would I don't know why they would choose a rescue chopper for a Decepticon, but the attack chopper would have been a more obvious choice, even if they had to base him off of Vortex. But hey, I'll give Bay credit for some creativity, having Blackout act like a mystery.
I think it was just more like just to like give an explosive introduction. Yeah, yeah, because the Bay was always into that kind of thing. If you watch the other movies,
Yeah. Yep, he sure was. And with lots of humor, too. Yeah, real lots of humor. And while meshing up with some of the raunchiness and the serious dark tone, too. Yeah. Some of it's dark, some of it's mid. Yeah, quite impressive.
here's a question though. Like I may be getting this mixed up. Blackout was only in one movie, or was he in the second movie as well?
Well, I thought he had been making his big comeback in the second movie, but this first movie was the only movie he appeared in.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
the one
I could.
yeah, the one you saw in the second one was his twin brother called Grindor. Yeah,
Oh,
clearly clearly I'm not sure why they would have another Decepticon impersonate him, but if it, but I suppose it's that they didn't want to make it too cartoonish, but they wanted to appeal to the same fans who were drawn in by Blackout's performance in the first film, which we'll get
honestly,
to
I
more.
honestly I think they
Yeah,
were just like in a movie like this. I think they were just switching out Decepticons. To be honest, I mean, every film. There's always every new Decepticon either get killed or get sidelined. So
yeah,
yeah, I mean, I watched Grindor like in the second one, and just in the short amount of time he was in, he just gets his face ripped off like very like that quickly.
yeah.
And he was a
Yeah,
lot bigger than Optimus.
he sure was.
So yeah, I mean, I think they were just a dime and a dozen, to be honest with you.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, same here. Of course, Blackout in the movie did not talk, or hell, he never even had an actual voice actor, just some sound effects to make him sound creature-like. But Grindor, on the other hand, was voiced by Frank Welker in the second film.
He barely, like he only lasted it during that forest fight, and then yeah, and then Optimus kills him. But that was pretty much all we ever saw of Grinder in the second film.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Decepticons have no arc or speaking lines outside of Megatron and Starscream, really. Yeah, of course, you had Barricade, Soundwave, and the Fallen being given dialogue outside, including the well, yeah, just the five so far. Oh, and Laserbeak too. Yeah,
Well, honestly, it's just that Megatron and Starscream were the only ones who lasted more than one film, and then they ended up bringing Megatron back as Galvatron in the fourth and fifth film, and Starscream lasted to according to my memory, he lasted until the third film,
yeah,
but
third film.
all the others were either just killed in the movie they just showed up in. So yeah, it's like it was pretty much like Bay thought they were just a dime a dozen.
Yeah, but also, also, Blackout carried Scorponok with him in the first film as as the backup. You know, except Scorponok's not an actual minicon, just a Decepticon to carry with him. You know, Scorponok was originally a giant like Fortress Maximus and Borside and Tripticon. You know, but here in the movies, including the rebooted universe, they brought him down to the size of one of those of an Arab mythological beast that is said to have been a man scorpion and stuff. I mean, Scorponok, he was really deadly too. He, unlike Blackout, only managed to kill one of the soldiers in the Sox and Qatar base, while Blackout wiped out hundreds with his seismic charge blasts.
Yeah, it's too bad that they didn't show him for that long though.
Yeah, but he returned to get his head squashed by Jetfire, which we'll also get to in a minute. Also for Scorponok, his tail, he was trying to kill Lennox and his crew, but he only killed one, and with the help of an AC-130, they blew his tail off. And they took and Lennox and his crew took it in for further examination.
Now that was kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, yeah, they had been using saber rounds against Scorponok, and that helped give them the survivors and the rest of the military on the planet an idea on how to stop the Decepticons.
Well, at that point, they didn't even know what kind of what they were dealing with. So having a sample would have given them the edge they desperately needed.
Yeah. Yep. And according to Rocket Raider, Scorponok is a devious mad scientist in the comics and was reduced to a robo scorpion. Still cool though. Yeah, that's true. And he was a sortress too.
Oh,
Yep.
I think they should have given
Yeah.
a little more time to develop. So
Yeah. Anyway, as for the Autobots, the first one to appear in the films chronically and to that became close with the main human protagonist is your favorite unforgettable yellow and black stripe Autobot, Bumblebee. Oh, and Rocket Raider says the tail is in the tail is in Universal Studios in Florida, I believe. When I went there, there was also a the shard in the glass cage from Transformers 2. Yeah,
I'll
that
be
too.
honest with, I'll be honest. I just don't think taking this, just making him not speak for so long, kind of really didn't add much to the character when it could have been. I'll be honest.
Of course. Yeah. Yes, of course. That is true. It's clear Bay wanted to keep them a mystery.
Yeah, but here's the thing though. What's the point of keeping it a
And
mystery? I mean, they were there at that point. I mean, if you're gonna show Bumblebee on screen, like at least let have him talk so we can understand them from a more personal view of just having him mute. Like,
yeah,
come
I
on,
hear you.
come on, man, ain't that
Yeah, and
hard.
oh, oh yeah, yeah. I mean, first they had him speak at the end of the film, but then they rewinded and made him go back to not being able to talk.
Honestly, that was a big travesty in my opinion, because you
I
literally
know.
opened the door and then you just took that away. I was like, why? Come on, man.
Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, I'm not even sure why they Michael Bay would regress on the character after giving him his voice back. But in the prequel adaptation to the films, his voice was ripped out by Megatron himself.
You know, I find it rather interesting. They never once like even like alluded to that in the main series. Just show that in a prequel.
Hmm. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, but that prequel movie of his became the start of a reboot. But also that was, but also the Decepticon to first see him fight Bumblebee was that called Barricade. You know, the Decepticon police officer who was actually supposed to be the Autobot known as Prowl until until the studios got involved and had him make some changes to the vehicle. So they went with Barricade, the Decepticon interrogator. He was yeah, he was in the first film. He was
well, it
quite
was
an intimidating film.
well
Yeah,
go down then to like show Bumblebee fight the first time they show him, and like that was cool. That was a start, but I feel like they didn't go far enough in the main series. I'll be honest.
yeah, and they adopted that into the Transformers Prime show too, with Bumblebee being unable to speak.
Oh no. It's like I
I
don't
know.
know. I don't know. I don't see the benefit of having Bumblebee mute if you're gonna show him, like especially with next to the like spend a lot of time with the human characters. Like, come
Yeah,
on, we gotta know what the guy we gotta know what the robot thinks, how it feels. You can't do that if he can't speak. So I think that was
I
like
know.
I think that was a massive travesty that the main series just never got over.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Barricade was able to speak, and he was voiced by Jess Harnell in both the first and the fifth film. I mean, he was originally supposed to be voiced by Keith David as heard in the video game adaptations, but for some reason Bay went with Jess Harnell, probably because they had some of his lines and scenes cut out from the first movie. If I had to guess, I mean, Keith David was Barricade in the video games of the 2007 film.
Ah, well, it's not uncommon for the game and the films to have different voice actors. Yeah, it'd be like it'd be better for all of us if it was consistent, but sometimes it's just not the case. I'll be honest.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, that too. Hmm.
I will say the one thing that I did like is that at the very least they kept Peter Cullen as Optimus. At least they showed how tough Optimus was. At least
Yeah.
they kept him on all five films, even if they did kill him off to the second just to bring him back towards the end.
Oh yeah. Yeah, of course. Yeah, they certainly. Yeah, at least they kept up Peter Cullen back as Optimus Prime, and I gotta give him a lot of credit for maintaining his role throughout the years since 2000, since he came back to voicing him in 2007, which it was 20 years away from from where we left off in the original animated series. You know, the series finale of G1 where Optimus Prime and the Autobots restore Cybertron after a battle with Scorponok and the Decepticons.
Ah, yeah, but he's like, he's getting up there, isn't he? That's uh, that's rather impressive if you ask me. Not many actors I know like have that kind of devotion.
Yeah, yeah, true. But also, Transformers do come in different shapes and sizes, as we all know, especially
Yeah,
in the likes of Frenzy, who appeared as Barricade's Minicon partner in the first live action film. I mean, he was voiced by Reno Wilson, but was speaking gibberish most of the time in Cybertronian language. And boy, he really killed three security guards on George W. Bush's plane. Ah, hey, voice protagonist. Nice of you to join in the chat. Yeah, yep,
honestly, that makes
and
him more threatening than any of the bigger Decepticons. Not gonna lie to you.
yeah, yep, yeah. He was hacking into the files on board the plane, and once he got into the files, he came across one featuring Sam Witwicky, the main protagonist of the film.
Oh, him.
Yeah, and he was quite a nut in the first three films.
Oh God, the third one was he was at the worst. Oh, like oh, the third one. It was like
Yeah,
I feel like
yeah,
the
I
first.
know.
I feel like the first one was when he was at his like well most maturest because he was just started getting used to this kind of stuff. But I think they turned him into like a complete oh crybaby as it went on. It was getting real tiring to be honest.
Oh, oh, hello, medieval loser. Nice of you to come check us out. Yeah, we were just yeah, and over here you've got Michaela Baines, who was played by Megan Fox. That sexy hotshot brunette from Tennessee. She was cast as an original character, serving as Sam's first girlfriend right before the actress herself got fired in 2009 after Revenge of the Fallen's released just for comparing Michael Bay to. Oh, Rocket Raider knows why. She just told us about 3 months ago during the watch along for Revenge of the Fallen with the Doolies that, oh, where you okay? Oh boy.
Sorry about that.
Oh, no
I
problem.
didn't. Yeah, I was like, I remember reading that story, and I'm like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I just did not really care whether she got fired or not because in the first film she was all right, but in the second, it was just like at the
Yeah,
second, it was just whatever.
too distracting. Yep, too distracting.
But it's not as if the new girl they replaced her in the third one. Not that it's not that she was any better. Be honest, let's be honest.
Yeah, I know. They replaced her with a blonde Victoria's Secrets model named Rosie Huntington Whitley, who plays Carly in Dark of the Moon.
Yep. I gotta be honest. She ain't that better. It's like so.
Still,
But Sam wasn't that better off either. I mean, in the third film, he was literally the worst. He was at his worst because he was just constantly screaming. Like, come on, man, it gets tiresome.
oh yeah, oh yeah, the screaming. Yeah, and they made some. acting scenes in the film quite irritating with Dark of the Moon. Hell, even Barricade made his surprising return in the third film, but he was voiced by Welker in that movie. And speaking of Barricade, in case you haven't seen Dragon Master, he was the Decepticon that killed Q right before Bumblebee killed Soundwave for abducting Carly. Ah,
Uh,
Michaela was always meant to be the main character too, but changed to Sam to be more relatable to boys. If you watch the first movie, you can feel her presence in the writing. Yeah, that too. And hi, Emily Kruger. Glad you could join us. Yeah,
oh, oh God,
pleasure you to join us.
I think that would be really, really like that would be really, really strange if she was the main character. I would not lie to you. Uh,
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, of course.
so, so
Yeah,
he,
Barricade and Bumblebee fought, and Bumblebee succeeded. But then, after he rescued the humans from Barricade, the other Autobots, led by Optimus Prime, arrived. Well, they started off with a few, with just a total of 5 in the first film. Obviously, because they wanted to keep it all simple. You know,
yeah,
because
yeah,
they were still on a tight budget and they needed to cut back on stuff.
really? Huh.
Now,
I mean,
in this
for
movie,
the oh,
you s-
because in,
you know the names of these of the first wave: Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, Jazz, Ratchet, and Ironhide.
honestly, that's a good looking bunch. I'll be honest with you. Yeah, this is what how I view it. Um, I don't think they used the other Autobots enough. I think they focused way too much on Optimus and to a lesser extent Bumblebee. I mean, I would have liked to see more of the others, but they did it the way he did it.
I know. Yeah, I know it didn't go that way. Anyway, while Peter Cullen voiced Optimus Prime, Jazz was his second lieutenant was the smallest of the pack, voiced by Darius McCrary. This was his only movie.
That's a shame. Oh,
Yeah, yeah, he got torn in half by Megatron in the final battle. Ironhide and Ratchet, however, were able to make it through a couple more movies after the first one. Yeah, Ironhide was able to survive because he was heavily armed to the teeth, and Ratchet was a medical officer who knows how to who knows how to heal a wound. Ah, yeah, not too bad a group, but Bay has a hard time with characters and developing them. And to be fair, there was a shit ton of characters in these movies. Very true, Rocket Raider. Very true. Yeah, that's been likely the case since the start. Yeah, yeah. They were also looking for the glasses that had the markings to the Allspark map that Megatron infused onto Archibald Wiggly's glasses, which Sam was trying to sell off of eBay, but couldn't get a buyer. But he never had to. Yeah, that's a shame. The characters are great. I agree. That's that's very true. Hi Tom Doyle. Hey there. Hi. Let me get you on board. Yeah, hang on. I'm sending you the link now. You see the link, Tom? Come aboard. Yep, this is the link. All right. let's continue. Now, clearly some of the comedy was wonky too. If you've seen what Bumblebee did to Simmons on the out out over by the aqueduct and stuff. Yeah, it was quite nuts.
Honestly, the second one was just like, I know it's like comedic, but damn, man, like a lot of it was in bad faith. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Hello, Tom. Thanks for coming aboard. How are you doing, Tom? How's it go? Oh, Tom. Oh my God. Sorry. Oh my God. Hold on. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. So sorry, Tom. I'm so sorry. Here's the link. All right. Let's continue. I'm so sorry, Tom. Anyway, Hoover Dam is where Sector 7 took Bumblebee, Sam, and Michaela to as soon as they got hold of the glasses. Yeah, sorry, Tom. Yeah. Yeah, Optimus using his own self-tech to trace the Allsparks over to the dam. You know, the Allspark was the main item of was the key item of the film. It was a, it was this cube. It was this cube that oh, hey CS. Thanks for coming.
Hey, what's going on?
Yeah, I'm glad you came.
Yeah, no problem. What did I miss?
Oh, we were just going through the first part of the thing, but you're just in time for the rest.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. We're right. We just stopped right here at where we come to the Allspark. You know, the source of energon that gives life to Autobot and oh, hi Tom. You okay? Are you okay, Tom? I'm so sorry. I'm sorry I messed up earlier. Okay. Let's continue. Oh, hang on. Yeah.
Welcome, guys. Welcome.
Yep. Yeah. The Allspark was definitely was the key item that the Decepticons were after in the first movie, and the Autobots wanted to destroy it for the right of for the right of all saintly of all and for the right of everybody. You know, they were devoted to the Autobots were devoted to protecting life, while the Decepticons were seeking to destroy it their just to save the Cybertronian race. Ah, I feel like Hoover Dam and Sector 7 inspired the SCP Foundation to be created. Yeah. Anyone know what the SCP Foundation is? Excuse me while I. Well, I think we can. Let's continue. Soon as Frenzy infiltrated the dam to bring Megatron back, Lennox and his fellow surviving soldiers had a brief standoff with Sector 7 agents, Simmons and his crew, and demands that they bring Sam to his car, which is Bumblebee, so they can get the Allspark out of the dam to keep it away from the Decepticons, knowing how much harm it would do to them. Oh yes, the toys. Right. Right up here. Yeah. Toys were played a key role in the marketing as well. Let me get that up for a second, as I promised. As I promised.
Can I say
Yeah,
something?
yeah. Well, we know that not all well, not every robot in the toy line showed up. Yeah, I know the toys were better than the films. I can see in the private chat. Still, I collected some of the toys of Transformers that weren't in the movies because I was totally bought into the whole movie franchise since I saw the first film. And now, and right, and the first, and the one that's, and the, and besides Optimus, the other Transformer that really got me invested heavily into this movie, guys, was the Decepticon that transforms into a jet and flipped underneath a bridge of a dam and while transforming into his robot form. And that would be Starscream. He was voiced by Charles Adler in the first three films, and Charles Adler was the same guy who voiced Silverbolt in the first Transformers cartoon in the 80s. I mean, yeah, I mean, this scene of Starscream flipping over a bridge, yeah, I mean, I need to, him flipping
Quick,
under that bridge really pulled me right in
quick
when he
question. Didn't
transformed at the
Trans-
same time. But in the second, as soon as we come to the second movie, he starts getting these tattoos on his body. Yeah, and Anne's got a good point. Toys were huge in the 80s as well. Very true, Anne, very true. Yeah, Starscream was one of the first Transformers toys I bought. Well, actually, the first one though was actually the leader of the Decepticons that I bought in the Voyager form, and that is none other than the one and only Megatron. Yep, Megatron. And this is what he looks like in the first film and part and somewhat in the second movie, but with more. Yeah, this is what he looked like in the first film, and oh boy, sorry, and partially the second film and third film. I mean, Hugo Weaving, the actor played the who played the vigilante called V for Vendetta and played Elrond from Lord of the Rings. He was cast by Michael Boyd Bay to voice this guy, not just in the first movie, but even in the second film when they brought him back to life due to his popularity as leader of the Decepticons. Yeah, Megatron, though, was kind of like Sauron in the movie in the Bayverse, while the Fallen, his master, was like the original evil of Mort that ruled over the lands of the Middle Earth. You know what I mean, right, CS?
Come again? Sorry,
Ah,
I was.
Slipknot fan. Feel free to elaborate, CS, while I see if I can get our friend to join.
Okay. Just reading from the comments, the most recent one that I see is the toys were huge in the 80s. Yes, and they still are to this day. And like as a collector myself, it's awesome, to see how many generations of Transformers we've seen, and there's a little bit of everything for everyone. Even though I'm a Transformers fan, I don't like every single, style of them, but the awesome part about being a Transformers fan to this day is seeing how Hasbro continues to put out, along with Takara toys, like all of these figures. You have from like G1, G2. I'm a fan of G2, and I'm a huge fan of the Bayformers. And let's give credit where credit is due. Thanks to Michael Bay, the franchise got saved back in 2007. And if we fast forward where we are right now, toys are still selling. It sucks that the movies aren't doing as well, but at least the merchandise is still there. And, it lets us get that opportunity to collect all of these awesome figures.
Yeah, the toys of the Transformers franchise are made the helped to make the franchise super popular, and that's how we got the Bayverse films, and it's exactly why they've been doing so well despite all the critical reviews and stuff. I mean, it wasn't just about the toys, but also about how awesome it is to see each car transform into a robot in real life. Yeah, and this is exactly what helped it's what made Iron Man 1 in 2008 a success because much of the tech that was used, that was done by CGI and stuff, it was all inspired by the first movie from 2007. I mean, if not for this first movie from 2007, who would have who knows if we would have ever gotten an MCU or not? You know what I mean, right?
I get you.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I mean, the special effects were outstanding. You couldn't. Nobody else could have done this back then.
And to this day,
Yeah,
those
same here.
graphics still hold up.
Yep, they do. Of course, some of the color paletting was starting to change gradually as time moved further and further with more sequels and movies and spin-offs. Yeah, yeah, it's kind of a shame we had to come into a road bump with the fifth film and the Bumblebee movie. But it was still worth the five films were still worth watching. Yeah, and
I'll,
also Michael
I'll,
Bay had a favorite which he named his dog after. And that's a Constructicon from G1 that is goes by the name Bone Crusher. You know, the Decepticon that killed a busload of people on the highway while trying to get. Oh yeah, they made him Optimus Prime's first kill on the bridge battle.
That was badass. Till this day, I still love that scene. Honestly, like, there's nothing within the live action movies that I want more than the Bay Formers, because he was ahead of his time. Honestly, like, it just brought Transformers to a whole different level. And when it first came out, everybody, it doesn't matter if you're a G1, G2 to whatever generation you like, it left everybody, wow, like, who would have thought that that would have been brought to life the way that Michael Bay did. And it was a huge success, and this is why we have, what, like, 5 films of them.
Yeah, yeah, five Bayverse films so far, and two that are and Rocket Rage says, first time Optimus delivers his iconic "Give me your face" line. Yep, that's the second movie. And I gotta wonder if calling Megatron his brother at the moment Megatron went offline was the reason the Fallen was picked to be the main villain and original Decepticon leader, which we will get to in a moment, guys. But there's also more. After Prime killed Bone Crusher, Frenzy got killed himself when Simmons scared the crap out of him with a flamethrower. Of course, Barricade's death was cut out from this movie, which is why they brought him back in films 3 and 5. But also, there was another Decepticon they took out of the subgroup of combiners, and that is called Brawl. You know, the same, he was a Combaticon in the G1 for toy line, but unlike Onslaught, Brawl was able to maintain his tank form. I mean, tanks are the main ground vehicle for combat in war zones, and that's why Brawl was the way he was and brought onto the big screen. I mean, first film would have been the one window of opportunity for Bay to bring in the Combaticons, but he didn't because this was the introduction into the live cinematic universe of Transformers movies, and
That's a
and
beautiful
Brawl
design.
is very much likely the weapon specialist of this of of this movie, up rivaling Ironhide. And if you've seen my videos of Ironhide reacting to Ironhide's boss battle with Brawl, yeah, that was from the first game. And and while and unlike the movies, Brawl was in the video game was voiced by David Sobolov, who you would know for voicing Blitzwing and Rhinox in the reboot. Ah, it's called Ectotron. Yeah. Oh yeah. Ghostbusters Ectotron T1 Transformers. Oh my. Oh, I think are you talking from from the last Ghostbusters movie that came out. Ah, yeah, more of the toys. Yeah, toys were selling hot. It's like a mesh up toy. Yeah, it is definitely. Yeah, these toys were selling like wildfire back then. Back when things were great, really great. Now, and Brawl was quite a menace, but he ended up being overpowered by the Autobots and the and the and the Sock sent survivors. But in the end, he was killed by a he was killed by Bumblebee, who had just got his legs blown off by Starscream's missile barrage. And poor Bumblebee for him to be stuck in that mode. Oh yeah, huge, definitely. Of course, Ironhide and Ratchet were doing their best to protect Sam, but were overpowered by Starscream. And of course, but before Jazz died, he kicked one of Brawl's rocket launchers off before getting tossed off, which was quite something. And Brawl was just squealing and roaring and stuff. Yeah. Oh, and did you guys see that scene with the Allspark where Sam actually dropped it on the ground and that he brought some Decepticons to life?
That was the second movie or the end of the first one. Am I right?
Oh, in the first one, when he dropped the Allspark on the ground, it released a burst of energy and it brought some electronic things to life.
Yes.
Like the
Oh
steering wheel
yeah,
inside a car.
Oh yeah,
the
I saw
Mountain
that
Dew.
part. I feel
Yeah,
bad for that girl who got grabbed by that robot.
yeah, and that girl that the steering wheel grabbed onto her face is Odette Annabelle. She played Rain in the Supergirl series, but before that, she worked with Bay on another movie that came out in 2009 that was written by David and directed by Man of Steel writer David Goyer. Called Unborn. And her love interest in that movie was the villain from the first Twilight movie as well. The blonde guy. Last I checked. But anyway, let's get back. After Megatron overpowered Optimus, we come to this scene where he chases Sam into the abandoned building. And if you've seen him chase after him while on the lower floor, he was kind of like a shark when he when when he was on the floor. He was like a shark when he tore through the floor in effort to try to get the Allspark from Sam. Man, that was kind of quite well. It's hard to put it. I mean, what do you think of? Yeah, and just as Sam reached the roof, he was gonna give it to the. Oh, right. And speaking of the roof, yeah, if you remember, Sam was about to give the people in the UH-60 the Allspark, but held it back because Starscream fired a missile and it blew it down. And UH-60 Blackhawks are also the very vehicle that the Combaticon Vortex turns into in the first animated franchise in the animated series. Yeah, yeah, the UH-60 Blackhawk. This would have been yeah. Slipknot fan hits the nail on the mark. That scene with the chopper was awesome. Yep, it sure was. And and that is how and where we come to Megatron chasing after Sam onto having pinned Sam down on the building while Starscream was on one of the taller buildings keeping watch. Megatron offered to spare Sam his life for the Allspark, but Sam no wasn't going to give it a chance. So we got Megatron angry into swinging his chain flail against the pillar, the column he was standing on. But lucky for him, Optimus rescued him. And and now we come to, and now we come back to Blackout. You know, the same Decepticon that destroyed the base and guitar at the beginning of the movie. He gets his ass kicked by Lennox, the leader of the same group of soldiers that survived. Yeah, especially that second image. Indeed. Yes, I agree. Lennox gets his revenge on Blackout with the saber round gun. It's a pity that Blackout didn't have anyone voicing him in the movie. I mean, in the game, he was voiced by Noah Nelson, who voiced Taru from Jackie Chan Adventures. Yeah. Anyway, after Blackout goes down, the Starscream tried to stop the F-22s in the sky, but got overpowered, and he had to blend in with them to survive. And they started open firing on Megatron on the streets. And that is where we come to to the to the final act of the first film, where Sam kills Megatron with the Allspark. Yeah, killing Megatron with the Allspark just to make sure Optimus lived and that he put an end to the hope that it would end the war for good. But sadly, destroying the Allspark along with Megatron certainly did not. It only prolonged it because Barricade, Starscream, and Scorponok were still at large and were bringing more Decepticons with them into the next movie. And now, and of course, Optimus Bumblebee wishes, and Bumblebee had his one line in the movie, actual line where he says he wishes to stay with Sam. So now we come to the second movie, which is my favorite of the franchise, Revenge of the Fallen. Yep, this is it. It starts off with the Fallen, and flashback where it all began with the war between the Autobots and Decepticons. Started on Earth. Started on Earth with the Autobots and Decepticons. Well, with the Fallen fighting against his brothers and leading a revolt against him and attempting to start the Star Harvester, in which he failed. Then we come to the present day in Shanghai, where the Autobots officially started teaming up with survivors of the Sox and Base massacre to hunt down remaining Decepticons. And yeah, and what I loved about the second movie is how it brings us further into the lore of Transformers, with every new Autobot and Decepticon character being introduced. Long Haul was a playable character on the Xbox 360 and PS3 versions of the game, but sadly they didn't bother giving him any dialogue in the movie. However, they gave dialogue to one big fella that the Autobots were hunting down along with Sideways, and that is called Demolisher. You know, the Decepticon that we saw Optimus and Ironhide take down. That was massive, enormous. I mean, huge. Definitely not your regular size. Yeah, it's a huge a bagger, a Decepticon that turns into a bagger. My God, he sure wreaked hell on everyone. Ah, Rocket Raiders got him. I still hate how RC literally has one line in the movie. Yeah, I hear you too. Yeah, each of the they didn't give each of the robots enough time and enough dialogue. Yeah, that was quite a bummer.
I would say that that was one of or a lot of people had the biggest gripes with the fact that they kept on switching out the robots without giving them enough time to like actually be actual characters, and just instead of just just robots just fighting each other.
Yeah, that's that's very true, Dragon Master. Very true. Demolisher had dialogue in this movie, but well, Sideways did not. And, and speaking of we have others. Another Decepticon called Sideways had a brief appearance in the film and ended up getting taken out by Sideswipe. Yeah. Two robots with the word "side" in it. Andre Sagliuso voiced Sideswipe in this second film, while while Dexter actor James Remar, the voice of Hawkman from Justice League animated series, voiced him in Dark of the Moon. Yeah, yeah, I voiced him in Dark of the Moon. Yeah, Sideswipe slashed sideways in half. While Ironhide and pursued Demolisher, who was really flat, who was flat out killing people on the highway bridge, on a long bridge. I mean, China is quite has a lot of large cities, despite how you look at it from each angle. Yeah, Optimus and Ironhide pursued Demolisher, and they blew this bastard into the hangar. And Prime gave him the headshot treatment after after the Decepticon berated him. And the twins were both combined as an ice cream truck, as an ice cream vehicle, which was quite weird. Weird if you. Oh yeah, I don't like how they were both gray cars too. Where's the color? Yeah, I hear you. It's like they were trying to replace Jazz with someone that would fit, but after they kill them off. Now, after the hunt, after the hunt, we now come to Sam, who was at his parents' house, trying to get ready for college when he discovers the shard of the Allspark was stuck inside his backpack, and it brought the whole kitchen to life, and the appliances were spiraling out of control. That he had to call Bumblebee in to trash the yard just to get rid of them. Man, they sure had to mix in the comedy and stuff very well. And along the way came the one and only sexy Michaela Baines, who meets up with Sam at his inside the garage to check on Bumblebee, who he tells him he's not taking him to college. And if you, which I also got a glimpse at at before the, right before the seeing the rest of the footage in one of the teasers, they featured that scene of Michaela taking off her clothes and stripping down to her wedding gown to impress Sam. I mean, that is something. Ah, Chris. Ah, hang on. Hang on. Just in time, Chris Bolts. Oh, Dragon Master. You okay? Yeah. We got one more coming on to join us.
Okay.
And thank you very much again, guys. I'm so glad I got some folks to come join in tonight. Now, all right. Let's continue. Soon as Sam soon as Sam heads out to college, Wheelie Wheelie appears, spying on Michaela, having detected the shard, first starting off as a Decepticon spy, working for working for both Starscream and Soundwave and the Fallen. And Soundwave, he finally makes his live action cinematic debut. And I loved how they made him a satellite, even though he wasn't his usual cassette box. Oh, next 45 minutes. Got it, Chris Bolts. All right. All right. Here's the link just in case. Now, Soundwave, he was monitoring Earth activity from the satellite he hacked into. And as soon as he got in, we come to the part or we come to the scene called Nest. You know, strange name for a group of Decepticon hunters founded by the survivors of Qatar. There the Autobots all gathered around, even Ironhide and Optimus. Nest had, yeah, here we are. Hard to find the actual pictures, but here we are. Optimus and the Autobots are confronted by. All right, Chris Bolts. Yeah, hang on. Ah, there he is. Hey, Chris Bolts. Glad you could join us in time. Is your mic okay? Chris Bolts, are you okay? All right. He's probably getting it all set up. Okay. They were having a discussion about it about
Hey,
what
son.
Demolisher told them called
Hey,
the
son.
Fallen.
Not to interrupt, but I'm gonna have to cut this short. I got something to do that just came up,
Okay.
so I'm gonna have to like bounce. Hey,
Oh,
thanks for
take care.
inviting me, though.
Take care, Dragon Master.
All right.
All right. Yeah, I'll have you.
What's
I'll let you know
happening?
when I'll be ready to have you
Car's
back
still
on.
there. All right, good. So you know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. Now, the Fallen, the original leader of the Decepticons, who was voiced by the late Tony Todd. I'm not sure why they didn't give him as much screen time and dialogue as possible, but he deserved a lot better in that movie since he was the titular main villain. I mean, the Fallen, he was also a master of telekinesis and magnetism, is what makes him only worthy of being taken down by a prime. Yep. Then, then Galloway gave away Megatron's location to Soundwave when he mentioned the Laurentian abyss. Oh, yeah. Megatron, having been revived by the Constructicons, destroying one of their own to bring him back. Yeah. Wow. He called. He regroups with his master, the Fallen, who informs him that the matrix of leadership was the other source of energon they needed to find. Oh boy. Chris Bolt seems to be having problems, but I'm sure he'll make it on. Now, they started their hunt for Sam, who was at college in Philadelphia. And believe me, much of these scenes over out at college kind of seemed really wanky weird. Yeah. As we come to soon as Sam starts having these weird meltdowns where he starts seeing these symbols in his visions and his eyes, he brought it brings it up to Michaela, but not without Bumblebee defying his orders to stay where he should have been, and brought him to Optimus in the cemetery to warn him about Ravage. You know, one of Soundwave's minions who appears in this movie and got yeah, Ravage. Way cooler and more badass than Frenzy, I can give you that. Ravage appeared in this movie and was sent by Soundwave to retrieve the shard that was located inside the Nest headquarters and that was locked away in a secure vault. He sent Fre- he sent a movie original Decepticon to kill a soldier out of cold blood, and then took it back to the other Decepticons to revive Megatron with it. And then as soon as they went after, oh, and you are you familiar with the Pretenders, guys? Huh? Hang on, Chris Paul should be coming on. All right. Alex, Isabel Lucas. Hi, Chris Bolts. Are you good? We we've come to Alice. You know, Isabel Lucas. She was sent there disguised as a beautifully attractive woman to spy on Sam. She was about to kill him, but not without Michaela coming to the rescue. Wow, talk about talk about yeah, and for Leo Spitz, man, Michael Bay sure knows how to put on quite a show with hot
I think
girls
I'm
and stuff.
having.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear, Chris Bolts. Yeah. As
Okay.
now, Sam was. This is where Sam and Michaela and Leo's journey in the movie begins. After being chased by a Decepticon pretender,
That's it. I got it.
which Michaela was able to kill by ramming her against a lamppost with her own car. Sam called Alice a baby, while the parent that came to come after them was Blackout's twin brother called Grindor, who was also playable in the movie adapted video game, along with Long Haul. I mean, you really got Blackout's popularity in the first film is what gave Bay the green light to go with Grindor. Also, Long
Blackout
Haul
was awesome in the movie.
yeah, but
That
Grindor
one
wasn't given
scene,
as much screen.
yeah, that
Oh,
one
you're
scene
saying
when they started blasting him, you know, that whole scene when they're in the street. I mean, that's just nonstop action right there. That's so badass. Like, you know, just those few minutes, I'm like, wow, like we should have gotten more. It was just so entertaining.
yeah, I know what you mean, CS. And we should have gotten more of Grindor as well.
Didn't
I
he
know
come
that
out also in the
yeah,
second one?
Grindor was the Pavlo Decepticon in the second movie.
Right, but he was in the first one,
Yeah.
right? Wasn't he the same one? Blackout?
No. Well, Blackout was a separate Decepticon from Grindor, from what
Oh,
I've heard.
looked the same to me.
Yeah, I know.
Still badass though.
Oh yeah. He was Grindor was voiced by Frank Welker in this movie too, along with Soundwave and Devastator. Heck,
That's nice.
yeah. As soon as he brought him to Sam and the gang to Megatron in their hideout over at the abandoned warehouse, they started torturing him to get the Allspark out. To try to get, I mean, to try to get as much knowledge out of him as possible. However, Optimus Prime arrived to rescue him, along with Bumblebee. Yeah, the forest battle. Oh, yeah, that one was quite a doozy. Yeah, it was real badass to see Autobots and Decepticons fight. Makes you wish we should have gotten more of the long fight scenes. Eh, Megatron literally wanted to kill Sam for killing him with the Allspark in the first film.
I mean, you can't blame him
Yeah,
for it.
yeah, I know. Yeah, man, the fights were hardcore in this movie.
Oh, they're
It,
badass. You know,
it,
it's just
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what the reboot was lacking. Yeah, I understand, Chris Bolts. Yeah, I had the same trouble working the kinks out as well.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Glad to be
Anyway,
sharing another stream with you and everything. So,
what do you think of the designs in Revenge of the Fallen? Even though the main issues were the comedy and and some of the dialogue, as well as the unneeded amount of pulling people's pants down and stuff.
was this
Yeah.
was Revenge of the Fallen one where they had a Devastator having balls and those two little guys hit him in the
Oh
balls?
yeah, I know.
yeah.
That right there. That was so embarrassing. That was
Yeah,
so
I know it was
embarrassing.
embarrassing, but that's Michael Bay, trying to
Yeah.
combine comedy rough with a rough tone, with a rough
I
serious
don't think
tone
that
and
was
stuff.
pretty much Michael Bay. I think that was Hasbro that said, "Hey, add some comedy to it." Because if you rewatch the movie and take away the comedy from, you know, every scene, it's a
Mm-hmm.
real good movie, like what Michael Bay has done. But when you see the cheesiness, I'm like, that's pretty much the executives and like, hey, add some comedy into it, you know, like Marvel and stuff like that. It's like, come on, man, just keep it, you know, like serious, but
Yeah.
at the same time, throw comedy when it's needed. But honestly, I get it. A lot of people didn't like the balls. I find it hilarious. I was like, okay, that's pretty creative, you know, because you know it's like it belongs to that big machine. So I'm like, where is he gonna tuck those balls at? You know, like in a real world setting, where do you tuck those big balls? You know, like it's part of the machine. So it's like,
Nah, but
so,
my issue is that dude, they were two giant. They're I guess like those steel wrecking balls and everything like that.
right.
They're pure metal. I'm like, how do they hurt? How do they hurt? It's metal. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be real thick metal. But so I'm just like, okay, that kind of just took me out of the movie and everything like that. not enough for me not to go watch the Dark of the Moon or whatever the third one was called. But oh yeah, it's just after the Dark of the
Anyway,
Moon, I was like, I think the last one I saw was the one with Mike Wahlberg, and I was just like, Mark Wahlberg rather.
Which
I
one?
just,
yeah,
There's two. There's 4 and 5 that he's in. So it must have been the last night.
yeah,
no.
no, it was the one where they discover Optimus Prime inside of in the movie theater, and he was trying to.
Oh, the fourth one. That's
Yeah, the fourth one. Yeah,
Extinction.
that was the last one I saw.
Oh man. Like
anyway,
that. Yeah, that's
That was
still
a
a,
Michael. That one wasn't Michael Bay, was it?
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
Anyway, this movie had featured the death of Optimus Prime. 23 years since the original animated one from 1986. They
Hmm.
had they went and reimagined it in the second live action movie in 2009. And Prime's death is what got the Fallen to wake up from his life support and start attacking Earth. And he showed up. He was seen on a tilting, you know, those big those big ships, navy ships that are, you know, oh yeah, the air carrier ships that his Decepticon forces have been sinking. He was on one of them. Ah, Rocket Raider says the film was trash. The fourth was okay. Yeah, I know. A lot of people have different opinions on which is best and which is the worst. But the second one, in my opinion, is definitely the best
Yeah,
because it brings you more further into the lore of the Transformers.
yeah, I
Soon
will
as
agree
the
with.
fall,
I'll agree
soon
with
as the
you on that one.
Decepticons, oh yeah,
Yeah, so I
yeah,
thought the
that
second
too.
one had a better story than the first, and I actually do like the second one, and I think Megan Fox was in both those two, and I thought her performance, even though she's supposed to be there for eye candy, I thought she did pretty well in them. I thought Shia LaBeouf did. In fact, all the cat characters really did really well. John Turturro, uh, I found all of them to be pretty believable,
Yeah,
and
I love Turturro in this movie than the first one. In this
yeah,
movie, he was a much better character and
hmm,
more fun, and the big lead and more of the big brother to Sam to help look out for Michaela and Leo while on their journey
yeah,
to the Middle East to find what they need.
yeah, no, absolutely, and it's just it's just kind of unfortunate that as the series went on, the story started going by the wayside. They started focusing more on
Guys, I'm
the.
so sorry. I mistook that right there. Sorry, my mistake.
It's okay.
Oh no, that's fine, brother. It's your stream, so we're at your request.
Uh-huh. Now, what do you think of Jetfire? I
I didn't
find
like
him.
him. I
He
didn't like him.
well, he. I have to be honest. He was one of my favorite Autobots in this one because he was the only aerial bot in the movie, and he was able to kill two Decepticons right before giving his life to merge with Optimus. He started out as a SR-71 Blackbird hidden inside the museum in
Mm-hmm.
Washington, D.C., awakened by Sam with the shard that he found in his house. And because they needed him to tell them where they needed to find what the Decepticons were after. And Jetfire was able to open a space bridge over to Petra Valley, where he where the reformer told the gang about the fallen and what he was after. So and after telling them the backstory of the fallen, he advised the gang to get searching for the matrix of leadership.
Mm-hmm.
But while they were away and searching, the other Autobots were put under house arrest by the U.S. government over the Decepticons' assault around the world. They wanted to. They were about to deport them somewhere into solitary confinement, but thanks to Simmons and others, they were able to get the Autobots away from solitary and back into the field to fight. I mean, Jetfire is big.
I did like when
Yeah,
he
and I
combined with Optimus. That was really awesome. Like that whole design. I actually have the figure from Hasbro with the, I think it's the DNA kit, the third party when he
Mm.
combines with with those big old boosters and everything. I'm literally looking
yeah,
at it right next to me right now. It's just awesome. That design is incredible. And the one from Dark of the Moon was even better. I was like, whoa. But for some reason, Revenge of the Fallen is one of my favorite ones.
yeah, mine too. Yeah, that was awesome too. Yeah, Jetfire and Optimus combining, just like they did in Cybertron against Starscream. Anyway, you know what the matrix of leadership is, right?
But
In the original animated movie, it was what kept Optimus alive until he took it out of him, and it's what turned Hot Rod into Rodimus Prime and was what they needed to use to destroy Unicron with. And and here it was what Sam and the gang needed to find to revive him with. They found it inside the tomb of the Primes located in Petra Valley in Jordan. As soon as they got it, they were on their way to rally with Lennox and his team in Cairo, but not before running into Starscream, who just spotted them with the help of the with the help of security operatives at the gates. I mean, he was open firing on them in the construction yard. As soon as Sam and the gang split into two groups, he and Michaela went over to Cairo while Simmons and Leo went deeper into the quarry, right where one of Longhall's doubles and the other Constructicons were lurking about. That place is where they were lurking about, is where Devastator was formed. Yeah, Devastator was the one of the best things of the movie, the
Yeah,
combiner. So
yeah,
far, the only one from the G1 that made it onto the big screen,
yeah.
unlike the rest.
Devastator has always been my one of my favorite Transformers. I love that Devastator.
Yeah, he in the original animated series he was voiced by Arthur Burghardt, but
Yeah,
here in the movie he was voiced by Frank Welker. If you can hear, yeah, in the movie he was able to suck things up in a with a giant vacuum in built inside his throat. He yeah, he scared the crap out of the twins and everyone in the quarry. And he was called upon by Megatron to get the harvester out of the ruins. But while he was making his way to the pyramid to get it out, Sam and Michaela and Bumblebee ran into Starscream and other Decepticons that were searching for him, and and the actual long haul was was among them along with Scrap looking for them. Yeah.
while we're on the topic of Devastator, not sure if you guys have ever been to the ride in Universal Studios, but that ride is amazing. And when Devastator comes out, he does the whole thing with the vacuum, and you go through them. It's like whoa, like it's pretty fun. I don't know if you ever been on the ride, but that's it's actually interesting how they have that whole 3D ride and stuff like that. But also, like seeing how Universal is still using the Bayformers to this day, to me that just shows you it's like whoa, like that it's just it's fun, it's unique, it's interesting, it's original, and most of all it's if you look at it from a like a realistic point of view, they're scary. So it's like, okay, here you have him, like destroying everything in the city, and when you're on the ride, it's a ride, but it's like whoa, it just takes your imagination when you go through, and then at the end Bumblebee saves you and stuff like that. It's just something nice.
Yeah. Yep. Very. Yeah. It's really fun too. Yeah. So fun. Even the fights in the second film were awesome, especially one between Bumblebee and the what and the and the Decepticon that replaces Bone Crusher as a bulldozer, and that is called Rampage, voiced by Kevin Michael Richardson. Rampage was quite a berserker and quite the whiplash with those treads as weapons for whips. Yeah, yeah. Bumblebee fought this and took this guy out along with Ravage right over by that house homestead in the ruins in the outskirts of Cairo. Soon as soon as the couple made it to Lennox and his team fighting against the army of Decepticons, they were pinned down by another Constructicon who goes by the name Mixmaster. Yeah, Mixmaster is quite a devious one. A, dis- a Constructicon cement mixer that uses the barrel as shields against fire. That was quite cool. Even has his own mega cannon to fire on. And he was the first. And he was the first one to be taken down by the one and only Jetfire. Yeah, Jetfire took this guy out when he sliced him in half and then kicked his head off. Yeah, it was that I loved. That I liked. That I enjoyed watching Jetfire do in the movie was slicing Mixmaster in half. But then along came a Scorponok from Qatar. Yeah, the same Scorponok from Qatar returned. He weakened Jetfire, but not without, but simply not without getting his head beaten off punched out by Jetfire as well. Scorponok will be Scorponok. Yeah, bug-eyed creepy. Yeah, Scorponok was quite the surprise attacker. He was able to wound an old elderly Jetfire, but he wasn't able to kill him and ended up getting killed by him with his bare hands. As for Devastator, he was killed by the human forces with a rail gun from the this rail gun right here from the destroyer USS Kidd. It was an advanced gun that was used to open fire a pulse beam right at the beast that was over trying to get the entire harvester out of the pyramid, and it blew his arm off, and it killed him as he fell down the pyramid.
All right, guys, I gotta get going. I gotta go do some stuff.
Yeah.
Take
Yeah,
care.
I got some stuff that just came up on me as well and everything like that. But no, I'm impressed by the extent to which you can recall a lot of this stuff without even looking at the movie. Sergeant, I haven't seen either one of these movies in years and everything like that. So as you're sitting there talking about this, actually bringing back so many memories of both the movies. So that's pretty impressive. I actually really like that. So, but yeah,
Thank you.
I actually got to get going. Some stuff came up that I got to actually take care of before I head out to the gym. But I'll invite me on the next one, Sergeant. I really like coming in and doing these things. All right, brother.
Thank you. Take care, Chris Bolts.
Oh, you're welcome. You guys take it easy.
You too.
Yeah, take care. Now,
Catch you on the next one then. Thanks for having me.
sure, take care. Now,
Where
after Sam was killed by Megatron, he was eventually brought back to life by the primes that were inside the astral plane where the spirits reside. He revives Optimus with the with the Matrix, but then the Fallen jumps in, snatches it from him, which forces Jetfire to take his own life away so that Optimus can use his parts to beat the Fallen. Ratchet had Jolt attach Jetfire's parts onto Optimus, and it made and helped to make Optimus a supreme upgraded being. and takes off into the air to confront his ultimate arch foe, the Fallen. He's quite a slick one, but luckily Prime was able to destroy the Harvester before engaging him and Megatron in the ruins over by the pyramid. And in the ruins, he was able to beat. Optimus was weakened Megatron, and he ultimately defeated the Fallen by ripping out his spark, killing Tony Todd's character off. Yeah, yeah. At the end, the film ends with Prime and Sam standing side by side as they returned home back to America as heroes. It was also the last time we ever saw Michaela Baines. She was, yeah, he was on the ship with Leo Spitz as well. Wow. Next, we come to the most irritating installment of the Bayverse, which is Dark of the Moon. Yeah, the movie that came out in 2011. Yeah. It starts off with a flashback of Sentinel leaving Cybertron inside the Ark. He and the Autobots were being pursued. They crash landed onto the moon, where astronauts led by Armstrong and others, especially those from the Soviet Union, discovered them. As soon as they came upon the ship, they were told not to share any vital detail about what they found on the moon. When they took 5 of the pillars, well, Sentinel Prime and 5 pillars were still on the ship with him. Where he was stuck there 50 years. Well, 40 years to be exact. Yeah, that's true. Had some of the best action and suspense, but everything else was superb. Yeah. It's also where we're introduced to Sam's new girlfriend called Carly. Yeah, played by Jason Statham's girlfriend, Rosie Huntington Whitley. Heh, yep, yeah. Carl Carly was trying Sam was struggling to keep his relationship with Carly going, but Minicon's brains and Wheelie were making it difficult. Just what you need. More comedy coming from these two. Yeah, a pervy brains. The pervy bot brains. Yeah, I know. It's quite. Yeah, she's trying to shoehorning them in there for more comedy and stuff. But also, oh yeah, Wheelie too, who now has blue eyes in this movie and not red like before. Yeah. Next up, now now we come to the Autobots entering the Ukraine where they were looking for an engine part. Along the way, they came across Shockwave, who was supposed to be the main villain, but was instead all a marketing lie just to hide the truth about Sentinel Prime being the villain. And I don't know why. Boy, I wish I had more people with us, but wow. Huh. Yeah, Shockwave and his driller bot were there. The driller. Quite a scary beast, if you do say so myself. He had more screen time in the Burger King ad. Really? That's interesting. Interesting. I'll have to look that up. That's really driller. Wow. Quite a ferocious beast they put together in this film. That I will give Michael Bay credit for making an original character out of. Yeah. Something quite amazing and menacing like this definitely deserves some points of originality. Optimus Prime snatches the engine part from this beast and it sends Shockwave and the thing in Shockwave retreating. Now I don't know why they had to make Shockwave's appearance so frickin' brief, but really, I mean, what was going on with Michael Bay and his crew that they couldn't give him enough screen time to to express his own menacing presence, especially out in the Ukraine where they had to retcon it so fast. Didn't make sense too. I mean, it's why you should never give rich people with so much hubris so much control. Yeah, Driller was super shaway. Yeah, yeah. Driller should have. They should have made Shockwave the villain, but God, what the hell was wrong with the writers and the management at Paramount back in late 2009 and 2010? Anyway, Sam was trying to get himself a new job, but along the way he got himself a job from John Malkovich's character called Bruce. John Malkovich gives Sam a job at the place. Yeah, and as you know, more of the boring humor and stuff. And and of course, yep, and now of course they're also introduced to another character who I don't know why had to live in this movie, but should have been dead, along with other people, known as Miriam. Ah, they signed Shock, they sidelined Shockwave to make a human the villain to mix things up. Unfortunately, the human villain was lame and lacked depth. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, they sidelined characters big time. I don't get what, yeah, but they could have also had him and Shockwave being partners in this movie, along with Megatron on a Laserbeak and Soundwave, instead of making Signal Prime a traitor, all just for mixing things up. Yeah. Sentinel Prime. Optimus brought him back down from the Ark with Ratchet's help, and together they, as soon as they got him back, Sam and Carly were there to witness his return. And yeah, Sentinel Prime, the traitor. Yeah, and to those who you, yeah, and to that, for the fact they would just lie to us about Shockwave just to hide the truth, here's my response.
You lied to us.
Yeah, they lied to us. And thank you very much, Rocket Raider. Your comment gets a good star. Yeah, I believe this is where I believe where the film left off at this scene is where much of the shift in narrative and changes in meddling started. Soon as Sam Soon as Sam gets himself involved by going to Russians for information about the pillars. They were ambushed by a trio of Decepticons known as that were called the Dreads. I mean, they went and made up more characters just to cut back on money. I mean, really, Michael Bay, you couldn't even use triple changers or something. Man, sure they were badass looking thugs, but why couldn't they use actual Decepticons that were from the G1 source material anyway? Yeah, this was Hatchet. Sure, they were being chased by them, and one of them tossed Simmons out of the car and got him put in a wheelchair. As soon as they were all taken out, came the twist that kind of got on our nerves, that triggered a nerve. The betrayal of Sentinel Prime. Yeah. Yeah, this was the first thing that Hollywood did to get on my nerves. Making him betray the Autobots instead of having Shockwave kidnap him, and they made him kill Ironhide off, which really hurt a lot of people. It really mostly hurts people. Then he uses the pillars to bring more Decepticons down, and while they were at it, Carly gets kidnapped by Soundwave, and Dylan Gould blackmails him into doing his dirty work to make sure that the Autobots leave and did not put up a fight. In which Starscream was sent in to blow up a shuttle that they were supposedly boarding. As for Megatron, he was in after blowing up the Lincoln Memorial. He goes to Chicago, go to regroup with Sentinel and Starscream to start their invasion. Luckily for Sam, he had help from Greg. Well, yeah. Sam regroups with a good guy named Epps, who goes with him to Chicago to help him find Carly and rescue her from Dylan Gould. One, yeah, yeah. Sentinel did not have enough scenes for a betrayal either. Yeah, much of the movie did feel rushed, Rocket Raider. Yeah, much of the movie felt rushed. Luckily, not only did Sam have help from Epps and his gang going to Chicago to rescue Carly, but fortunately for him, he had help from the one and only returning Autobot, Optimus. Yeah, Optimus returned to help out with, and the Wreckers came in to help out as well. Yeah, Wreckers. Yeah. What I don't get, I mean, there were also others like the Throttle Bots and stuff. So, and these guys, they could have been Stunticons too. I mean, why did they? I mean, they could have used these characters for Stunticons, but they hadn't. So instead, they made these guys the wreck, or even the Throttle Bots, but they made them the Wreckers. Anyway, these feisty fellas come in and they kill a Decepticon that vaporized a group of innocent human beings. And Bumblebee used the Decepticon's fighter to get up to rescue Carly. Yeah. After putting up with Laserbeak, Bumblebee was able to help Carly escape, and both he and Sam killed Laserbeak, but not without giving their position away to Gould and the Decepticons, who now started locking down the city in an attempt to find them and where they were. Yeah. Soon enough, soon as they made it out, they were Soon, the Autobots and the human forces began engaging the Decepticons as well as Shockwave on the streets of Chicago. Yeah, it's a pity they didn't give Shockwave enough dialogue and enough screen time, but he definitely had potential and was totally badass. He and the Driller Bot should have been the villains. Yeah, the Blue Wrecker is the ugliest Transformer in the series. Why did they give him teeth and hair? Yeah, I know. And why would Bay make him take Leadfoot's face off and implant it onto him? That's what I'd like to know. Yeah, I mean, what was all that mesh up about? Anyway, Shockwave was on the hunt, and while the wreckers were creating a diversion for them so that Optimus would get his trailer back, Sam, Carly, and Epps and the gang were going up to the higher floors to try to take out the main control pillar from across the river, but were thwarted by fighters. Yeah. Another thing that was made up by Michael Bay in this movie were these fighters. Yeah, these fighters were what Michael Bay made up in the movie. And you are getting a good look at this one, right, Tom? Anyway, soon as the fighters spotted them, they had to move several dozen stories down. And then when one of the people couldn't make it, Shockwave spotted them and he brings the driller bot over to the building to try to tear it down to kill the humans inside. Yeah, this was quite menacing to create a Decepticon that could really destroy buildings in minutes. Quite a menace. Fortunately, Optimus Prime showed up and engages the driller, killing it by blowing it by chopping its head off before it could reach Sam and Carly. And it angered Shockwave into retaliating as well. All right. Now, now we come to Starscream, where he meets his demise. And folks, if you're in the chat, make sure you like, share this video, and subscribe too. Here they Here they have Starscream hunting Sam and Carly, only for Sam to use some of Q's gadgets to blow his frickin' head off. Yeah, and I don't get why they had to make him dangle on Starscream's eye, but he should have just had him jump off afterwards instead of making him a comical tool. Oh,
Jump off afterward instead of making
by,
him a comical tool.
What's up?
yeah, glad you came back. Yeah, you have seen Dark of the Moon, right?
Mm-hmm. I have.
Yeah, what do you think of Starscream getting killed by Sam with the gadget?
Honestly, I don't even really remember that movie because I watched it such a long time ago. Like, I tried watching it recently and it didn't hold up, so I didn't end up finishing the movie. The only movies I finished recently was the first one, Bumblebee, and Transformers 1. Like, those are the only ones that are really watchable in my opinion. The other movies just aged poorly.
Yeah, I can see that.
I haven't tried rewatching Age of Extinction or The Last Night.
Yeah, I know. But they kind of blew you away, right?
Yeah, like all those movies were good at its time. I think the only one that just didn't, like, it never aged good was Revenge of the Fallen. That was like the worst Transformers movie, in my opinion. Like, I never liked that movie. It had a few cool parts in it, but overall, it's just a bad film.
True. There were rewrites that kind of plagued it during the strikes at
Right.
HD, but it was still awesome and fun to watch for me. Now, here we come to Soundwave, where he was given orders by Cool to execute Bumblebee and a couple Autobots that were captured. The
Uh-huh.
Barricade returned and killed Q. But for Soundwave, yeah, Barricade. They brought him back, and he killed Q in this movie. The old blue bot that was supposed to be Wheeljack before they got too carried away with their ego and stuff.
Yeah.
But then before Bumblebee was about to get his head popped off, he was saved by Wheelie and Brains, dropping fighters on them.
Hmm.
And he kills Soundwave, Megatron's officer, with one shot. Bumblebee kills Soundwave, the Decepticon that kidnapped Carly. And I don't get why
in the
the
third
fuck
movie, yeah.
oh, yeah. I just don't get why they wouldn't have Sam rush over to Soundwave to kill him for what he did to Carly. But
Right.
yeah, that was kind of irritating. Even more irritating was that they made Shockwave a joke by making Lennox blind him.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've seen this movie, they should have treated Shockwave better and more of a badass instead of being used as a marketing bait and switch marketing gimmick. I mean, I just don't get what goes on with these studios and stuff to why they don't seem to be as honest and respectful to things, to certain
Yeah.
characters they bring. But nonetheless, Optimus Prime was able to beat this guy out along with another Long Haul and Scrapper clone.
Yeah.
While using Shockwave's cannon to stop the Cybertron from bringing in. Optimus then engages the traitor. Sentinel. The traitor known as Sentinel. Yeah, voiced by Leonard Nimoy, who died the year after this movie came out. Sentinel Prime engages Optimus Prime in Chicago. Sam rushes to try to keep the pillar from being activated. He was forced into a confrontation with Dylan Gould. The irritating Dylan Gould. Anyway, but also while Optimus was being overpowered by Sentinel on the bridge, who would come to his rescue but Megatron? But Megatron, bruised by Carly into engaging Sentinel, Megatron stripped Sentinel down part by part. Then Sam kills the evil bastard Dylan Gould, but sadly not in a savoring manner possible, just in a rush, lightly done kind of manner as possible. I mean, they could have just impaled Dylan Gould instead of just being so fucking soft with the execution.
Right.
Yeah. Then we see the Wreckers take down this giant Russian Decepticon called Devcon. Before Bumblebee destroys Cybertron by destroying the control pillar. Yeah, I don't know why Studio Series Hasbro hasn't released an action figure for this one, but I mean, this by far has been the only thing that Hasbro has given us for the toys. I mean, look at this Decepticon before we continue. Devcon, originally an Autobot in G1, but here he's a Russian Decepticon. A Soviet Decepticon to be exact. Yeah. He was taken down by the Wreckers just before Bumblebee destroys Cybertron. After that, Megatron ends up getting his head taken off by Optimus. Oh, wait, what's this? Yeah. Optimus Prime was angry at Sentinel for betraying him and the Autobots, and he blew his fucking treacherous head off with his own Aztec gun. Yeah. Yeah, he sure did. Sam and Carly were reunited, and Bumblebee gave them rings to wed each other with. Yeah, but afterwards, things did not go well for the Autobots after putting up with Sentinel's betrayal to the Decepticons invading Earth. We then come to the
Right.
fourth movie, which detours us from Decepticons. Age of Extinction. Heck, Age of Extinction, the fourth installment. This is kind of like the Bayverse Superman 3, if you will. When it comes to one character that
Mhm.
the studios used to disenfranchise others, which was Galvatron, of course, but we will get to him late for a moment. But for now, let's turn to Cade Yeager. Mark Wahlberg. Ted, now, here's Mark Wahlberg. The movie started off with Wahlberg going to a museum, going to an auction place yeah, extinction of the franchise more like. Yeah, that's a good point too. I did a review of each of these movies, but I didn't bother sharing the rest with the Toolies on Discord because I worried that Peter was going to was going to get heavily bothered. But
Yeah.
anyway,
That's the thing
here
with
we
that kind of stuff. Like when you're trying to talk to certain people, like you can't just like like chase them. You just gotta like take your time.
yeah, that's true.
Like
Very
this
true.
applies to like anything, like whether that's if you're interested in someone or if it's like a YouTube channel you like or what or a celebrity. It just all depends what you're trying to go for, like what you want in life.
Mhm. Yes, of course. Anyway, Cade's anyway, if you all know Nelson Peltz, his daughter was Nicola Peltz played Cade's daughter Tessa in the fourth movie, who was trying to have some fun as a teenager but couldn't stand her father being an erratic inventor. And I got to tell you,
Yeah.
this movie is where some of the humor in the franchise started to get super rough, and they even introduced. Oh yeah. Also, you know what happened to Ratchet, right?
No.
He gets killed in this movie by a bounty hunter that was his arch nemesis in the animated shows, and that was
Mm-hmm.
Lockdown, voiced by Mark Ryan, the same one who
Yeah.
voiced B in Jetfire. Lockdown was the villain of this movie. He kills Ratchet while assisting rogues, while assisting CIA operatives who are assassins within the government division, hunting down and killing robots.
Do you wait? Actually, I'm gonna type this in the chat. Hold on a second.
All right. Sure.
Yeah, give me one sec. You could keep talking whatever you're talking about.
Anyway, there's also a main human antagonist in this movie too, voiced by a
Yeah.
popular actor from the old days known as Kelsey Grammer. You all know
What the
Kelsey
heck? Why
Grammer,
can't I
right?
find it? No. I'll have to look her up, or you pull her up on the screen or something.
Who?
Kelsey Grammer.
Oh, Kelsey Grammer. Sure.
Yeah, I have no idea who that is.
Oh, Kelsey Grammer. He played Beast in the X-Men in the X-Men movies. But here
Mhm.
but also I was introduced to him when he was voicing a popular antagonist in The Simpsons called Sideshow Bob. Remember? Are you familiar with Sideshow Bob?
Nah, I've never seen that.
Yeah, Kelsey Grammer voiced this guy in the Simpsons animated series, which is what introduced me to him. Yeah. Kelsey Grammer played a sinister character called Harold Edinger, who wanted not just the Decepticons out of the way, but also wanted Autobots gone because he did not trust them. And the other was
Right.
when James Savoy was played by Titus Welliver, was another one. Ah, Fraser's Cheers.
Oh, that. Oh, he plays Beast.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, Kelsey. Yeah, he plays Beast in the X-Men movies.
I thought
Yeah,
that was maybe I'm thinking of a different. Wait, is he like the original? Because I was thinking of
yeah, his
Nicholas
character was.
Hoult.
His character was made from scratch.
Oh,
He was
okay.
running the CIA
Yeah,
division
that
called
makes
Cemetery
more
Wind.
sense.
Yeah, yeah, and the tone was rough in this movie too.
Right.
Yeah, Optimus Prime was was introduced in this movie, starting off as a rusty old truck that Cade was going to sell or make parts out of.
Mm-hmm.
The cemetery wind killers were finding him soon as lockdown and his human allies put Cade and his family in danger. Optimus comes out of the shed and starts engaging them while giving them the chance to escape. And along the way, they were rescued by Tessa's boyfriend, named Shane. Played by the
Right.
Irish actor called Jack. Yeah, it was yeah, it was quite yeah, it was quite some fun adventures they had. Anyway, they were also tagging along with them was Kate's best friend known as Lucas, who ended up who at the end of the chase at the first chase scene ends up getting killed by Lockdown with a transformium grenade, which was
Mm-hmm.
quite dark. I mean, Lucas, they really killed him off. That was the darkest part of the movie was his, I mean, Lockdown killing Lucas off with a like this. I mean, this is who Cade's best friend was in the movie. And this is how he ended up. He ended up dead, turned into a transformium material by Lockdown. That was the
Yeah.
darkest part of the movie. Yeah. Yeah. Cade, his daughter, and Shane had to travel far into Utah where they stopped there. And along the way, they meet Hound, an Autobot that I wanted Bay to bring in since after Dark of the Moon. But for some reason decided to make a bulkhead out of him. You know, I mean, Hound was a cheap in the original animated series, but here he was turned into Bulkhead, and this is what he turns into, which is kind of okay. Yeah, I mean, Bulkhead was a popular character from two animated Transformers
Mm.
shows that came out after the first one and after the second one too.
Right.
And here he was voiced by the famous John Goodman, who recently played
I message you on Discord.
Oh, sure. Yeah, John Goodman. Yeah, right before Age of Extinction, I've seen the movie where he co-starred with George Clooney and Bill Murray, which was called The Monuments Men. Yeah, it was a pretty good
Right.
movie to see him. All right. Yeah. Now, let's get back. Let's get back to Hound and the others. Hound was one of the Autobots that Optimus was rallying with, and along the way, was an Autobot called Drift, a Japanese samurai Autobot, who was also the first triple changer to appear in the Bayverse. And along joining them is another Autobot called Green Autobot called Crosshairs. Ken Watanabe, the fake Ra's al Ghul from Batman Begins, who also played the Doctor from Godzilla movies, he voiced Drift. Now, Drift, he was from the source material, guys. Rocket Raider says it had the best crew. Well, I still say the second one had the best crew, but hey, it is what it is. But hey, yeah, Drift was a samurai Autobot, and Crosshairs was just a soldier in a trench
So
coat.
this is sort of off topic, but it kind of relates to Transformers. Apparently, Titanfall 3 is in the works, or it's already made or something. They're saying that it's going to be using Unreal Engine 5.
Sort of like that.
Yeah, like it relates to it because it's Robot Max, right?
Yeah, it was from the animated. It's because of the animated series. The animated shows are.
You know what Titanfall is, right?
Oh, it's 821. This was from 2014. It's also the highest grossing movie of 2014.
Oh, you're talking about Transformers? No, I was just telling you about the Titanfall stuff. Like it kind of relates to this.
Yeah. Transformers animated is what the fourth film took a lot of inspiration out of. Where this company had Megatron. Yeah. Age of Extinction.
Is Tommy here?
Oh yeah, he's still here. Yeah, Tommy, are you there? Well, I'm sure he can answer.
I haven't heard him say a single word, but maybe he's busy. I don't know.
Sure. I don't mind the company. Anyway.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Like we could have more people on here.
Yeah. That too.
Or if we just keep it like this, it's fine.
Sure. Now, the Autobots arrived in Chicago to approach this building called KSI. KSI was where some of the dead robots were being delivered to in order to have their parts melt down for stuff to build things out of. It was led by Stanley Tucci's character in this movie called Joshua. His name was Joshua in this movie. And Stanley Tucci, the first movie that I got introduced to him was from Captain America, the first Avenger, where he played that scientist that was killed by one of Red Skull's men. Yeah, that was the movie that I got introduced to him in. Now here, Joshua, yeah, Joshua Joyce. Yeah. Soon as they got in, as soon as Cade and his kids and the Transformers got in, Bumblebee.
Yeah, I remember that guy.
Sorry, my
The guy, the bald dude with the glasses.
yeah. Bumblebee was having a meltdown over a duplicate called Stinger.
Right.
Yeah, that was kind of one of the most embarrassing parts of the movie. I mean, him to lose control over a copy, over some kind of copycat. Yeah, Motormaster. Originally, they were supposed to give us the Stunticons in this movie, according to my friend Frost Frank. But for some reason, the studios they just had to go. They just had to act like Warner Brothers, giving us Galvatron and something more made up when they could have made it more worth seeing if they've gone with the Stunticons. Anyway, Bumblebee loses his shit in this scene, and he makes Shane take the fall for him. Now, soon as Cade got captured, he was introduced to the man who was trying to kill them, known as Harold Edinger, who wanted him to surrender the Autobots over to him and would then let them go and have a normal life. Of course, Cade wasn't having it, and the Autobots came to rescue him and everyone in the building. In response, Joyce and his crew sent Galvatron in after them, as well as Stinger. Yeah, now for Galvatron, this Decepticon was supposed to be the Stunticon, later known as Motormaster. And if you know
Right.
who Motormaster is, Motormaster is a Decepticon leader of a group known as the Stunticons. He was supposed to transform into this vehicle that Galvatron transforms into. And I don't get why this. Yeah. And Rocket Raider makes a good point. Even his designs are so ugly in this movie. Yeah, really ugly. This should have been Motormaster, and I don't get why Bay couldn't put up with the goddamn animals running the studio at the time, who were acting like Steve Ross's regime at Warner Brothers. Yeah, I mean, we were supposed to get the Stunticons, but instead we got Galvatron and more made up KSI shit. Yeah, and the Stunticons are supposed to transform into a powerful being known as Motormaster. Such a waste. Such a waste of opportunity and resources, too. Now, for Galvatron, yeah, he overpowered Optimus on the road, but sadly they never bothered to bring him back. They made him more of a coward and more of a plot device for this film. Instead of doing things directly from the G1 source material, they just treat everything like a propagandized plot device. And once Galvatron was brought to China, he starts bringing 50 KSI's robots to life. But before
Right.
we get to that, Optimus and Cade's daughter were kidnapped by Lockdown, the bounty hunter, who, in exchange for Optimus, gave Savoy and the CIA a transformium seed to create more transformium with. Yeah, Lockdown is pure evil in this movie. Very sludgy, sinister being who has no mercy for his. Oh, what thing? Okay. Yeah. Soon Lockdown ship. Yeah. Lockdown ship was so massive that that soon as the Autobots and Bumblebee got on, huh?
It's kind of
What did
like
they
it's kind of
name the
interesting how
element?
you remember all this. Wait, did you watch all these movies recently?
Yeah, I have. It's called
Oh, okay.
Transformia.
That's why. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, because usually when you talk about this stuff, I'm like, how do you remember all these like little details? And I'm like, okay, that makes more sense. It's like I haven't seen these movies in so long. I only watched them once. The especially the fourth and the fifth movie, but the other ones I've seen like multiple
Mm.
times.
Ah,
But like
Rocket Raider.
those movies aged poorly, to be honest with you. Like that, like no wonder why the series is where it's at,
Yeah,
because
I
it's
know.
like they did that to themselves.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, like yeah, exactly, Anna. Like I have that same problem. Like my memory is kind of like it kind of fluctuates. Like I can remember
Yeah,
like I mean like obviously I remember everything about well, not everything, but a lot about myself. Like if someone were to talk to me about like personal stuff, like if they wanted to know personally more about me. But like when it comes to like movies and shows and like games, like when you like play through a game or if you're watching something, like at a certain point you're gonna forget. Like you don't remember everything that happens. So it's like you have to like basically look up something online just to remember it, like a YouTube video or yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Like I can't yeah, like certain okay, so yeah, if I watched it like recently, like within the last like week or month or a couple months, then yeah, I can remember it. But like at a certain point, you just like that information that you remember, like it eventually goes away. But that's kind of also the charm of replaying stuff or like games. I should say not.
Mm-hmm.
Not that's not what I meant when I said stuff. But yeah, that's the charm of replaying games and like rewatching movies and shows because it's like you're basically reliving that memory again, but from a different perspective, right?
Yeah, of course.
Like
Different perspective indeed.
it either helps or hurts the experience. It just depends how often you're doing it, and also depends on your interest level in it. So it's like I'll give you an example. So when I play like FPS games, I'm always hooked on them most of the time. Like I just right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's kind of like always been my thing. Like I've always liked FPS games.
And would you compare them with the some of the robots in this movie too?
But if you're
Especially with
talking
how when
about
they're full of ego.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because they use guns. Yeah, like I just like yeah, like I
Yeah.
don't know something about like I don't know what it is, but something about like shooting and like killing is just like it's just satisfying. Like I don't know how else to explain it. Like I know that kind of sounds like unsettling, but like that's I don't know, man. Like it's just how I feel about like shooters. And like
Mm-hmm.
firing guns is pretty satisfying in real life.
Yeah.
But like you're not like just like if you're at like a shooting range,
Yep.
like you never want to use it for any other reason unless like someone's trying to invade your property. Then that's a
Uh-huh.
totally different story. That's like self defense.
Yeah. Self-defense indeed. And Crosshairs is
Yeah,
also another one with the guns.
yeah.
Yeah.
If someone crosses your property, it's like it's your right to take action on them. It's like I mean, obviously you don't want to do that, but it's like a last resort type deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Soon as
it's
Cade
not,
and Shane
and
got
yeah,
the
man, like it's never a good thing to you know, to like basically end someone's life. That's not like something you do. It's just something that
yeah, of course.
yeah, like you can't. It's hard to take that lightly, you know.
Yeah. Soon as Cade and Shane rescued Tessa and Optimus,
But yeah, that's all I'll
they
say about that.
yes. I'd like to get back to this. Anyway, soon as they escaped the ship, Crosshairs and Bumblebee got them onto onto one of the fighters that were seen in the Battle of Chicago, and they used it to try to outrun the others. Crosshairs jumped off to blast some of them out of
Right.
the sky, while Bumblebee goes onto the crashes one onto the ground, and where Cade stumbles upon a local bystander and starts intimidating him. Yeah, Bumblebee rescued them, just like he rescued
Mm-hmm.
Sam and Carly in the previous movie. Now, but
Yeah. I, oh, actually, hold on. Let me
As
private
for
message you
Cade,
this.
Cade went rough on them. Yeah, I mean that scene of him drinking a beer and stuff. Yeah, the humor was crazy too. Crazy humor in this movie. Yeah, even when ah, yeah, yeah. I remember when Duck Hunt came out in Nintendo. It was red. I wish we had the second here. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, and I wish we had the sixth movie too. Anyway, after they escaped the enemy, the Autobots and the humans rallied over at a local train yard where Prime accuses them of not knowing what they brought upon themselves. And having joined them was Brains, who had just escaped and was abused from them. I mean, here's Brains. He makes he makes his return in this movie, explain to them about Galvatron being Megatron reincarnated. Yeah, and he tells them he blames the humans for bringing it on themselves. Yeah, and as for Galvatron, soon as right after Cade warns Joshua Joyce about Galvatron, Joyce starts to turn his back on Adinger and Savoy for the good of mankind. And then Galvatron wakes up and starts bringing KSI drones to life as Decepticons. I mean, yeah, having made making Galvatron that truck in this movie really caused a lot of plot holes for the fifth film to put up with. I mean, he was looking to use the seed that lockdown gave the CIA for the same reason as they are, but he wanted to use them on the largest city. And the largest city on the planet, guys, is Tokyo. It's
Right.
either that or Shanghai. Those are the two largest cities in the world today. He wanted to use the seed on people and everything in the largest city on earth. Soon as Joyce and his company and others start evacuating the factory, they drive right into Hong Kong, one of China's playgrounds. Hong Kong was where the final battle took place.
Uh huh.
Yeah, it's quite a mad battle. Yeah. Joyce and his girlfriend were saved by a Chinese boxer who takes out one of the CIA agents who tried to kill Testa. And he boxed him out good. Yeah, Savoy was an evil human being, made evil by the death of his sister in Chicago by Decepticon fighters. His heart was black, but Cade was able to kill his ass with a football and shoved him out the window onto the ground. Meantime,
Mm-hmm.
Galvatron. and these KSI drones he brings to life started tailing everybody. Yeah, KSI drones. And my God, what a waste. Such a waste. Yeah, definitely the most expensive finale. Absolutely, Rocket Raider. I mean, so many robots in this movie they could have actually used for the they could have used for this they could have actually saved more money by giving us the stunticons. Instead we got randos. But we do get the Dinobots in this film, who were introduced as prisoners of lockdown. Grimlock starts off by someone who engaged Optimus, who was attempting to challenge his leadership, but ends up being beat by Optimus with one parry of a shield. Then Optimus, along with Crosshairs and Drift, ride some of the other Dinobots into Hong Kong to engage some of the KSI drones that were there. And they sure did a lot, and they sure did a number on them too. Hound and Bumblebee were on their own, protecting Cade and company from the Decepticon created KSI drones. Luckily, they were able to fend them off. And as for Stinger, Bumble. As for Stinger, he was not that big a deal, to be honest. He was too easy for B compared to Soundwave, Rampage, and Brawl. Stinger appeared. Yeah, when he should have been in a Stunticon as well. He ends up getting killed by Bumblebee and having his head fed to Swoop. You know, the pterodactyl the Dinobot. Then Lockdown returns with his ship, attempting to collect Optimus and the Autobots, using a giant magnet to pull them in. Yeah, a giant magnet for something Lockdown would use to try to get them. Optimus destroys the magnet in Hong Kong. Yeah, and during the Battle of Hong Kong, you had the Beijing sending its special forces out to fight back against Lockdown's forces.
Hey, what happened to oh man, what's her name? Is it Emily? How come she's not here?
Oh, she was here earlier. She was
Oh,
just
she was
stopping
here at
by.
the beginning of the stream.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
yeah,
Oh,
she
there
was
she
here.
is.
Yeah, that was
Yeah, she
2 hours
seemed. Yeah,
early.
she seemed cool.
Yep. Anyway, Lockdown ship was doing a lot of damage to Hong Kong. That all it took was for Optimus to get to get the cover underneath one of those structures, one of its biggest monuments, and open fire on the magnet with an explosive bolt with some explosive projectiles.
Right.
And then we come to the final battle at the factory, where Prime and Cade took on Lockdown together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Prime and Lockdown fighting each other, while Adinger was trying to kill Cade. Optimus, while distracted, kills Adinger, only for Lockdown to 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 impale him against the wall. Well, Cade had to and Bumblebee had to.
I remember that part, like vaguely.
Yeah, yeah. Bumblebee had to fight Lockdown along with Cade.
What about
Yeah, Emily. Yep.
Yeah, I was gonna say Anne's cool too. I don't know why neither of you are on the stream, but It's all good. You want to come on? Like, if you just want to listen.
Well, I'll have them listen.
Yeah, man.
Any-
Like chicks are cool to talk to, man. Like,
Mhm.
like I don't mind being like more of like a listener than them talking, or if it's like a 50-50 type deal.
Yeah, true. Anyway, with Tessa's help, Optimus was freed from the sword, and Optimus was freed, and he kills Lockdown with the Knight's sword that Lockdown had him impaled with earlier in the battle, slicing him in half. Then it ends with the two.
Yeah, I remember that part.
Yeah, and it ends with the two-headed KSI drone and others having spotted them at the factory, and Optimus had to detonate one of Lockdown's grenades to destroy them. And then they
Mhm.
rallied with the other Autobots and the Chinese government forces in Hong Kong. Yeah, they've and right here is where the fourth film ends, where Optimus Prime says his goodbye to everyone, where he is willing to confront the people who sent Lockdown after him and take the
Yeah, like
siege somewhere where they cannot.
all this stuff with the
Yeah,
fourth and the fifth movie, I really don't remember. Like, I'd have to rewatch them.
yeah, Night Voice protagonist. Yeah, yeah. Optimus Prime left Earth, sending a message to his creators that he is coming for them. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we were supposed to get the Quintessence, but instead we got one smaller being called Quintessa in The Last Night, the last Bayverse movie to go through for the night. Yeah, which was a real road kill of a movie of way messy. Yeah, the
Yeah,
last
man.
was
Like,
definitely. Oh yeah, wait, hold on, hold on. Before we do that, there's something I'd like to check. There is also a review we should listen to out of one Tyrone Magnus on Age of
yeah,
Extinction.
sure. I was gonna
Yeah,
say
something
one
to.
last thing. Like, basically, but yeah, voice protagonists. Like, that's the thing with women. Like all of them are cool, man. Like, in my opinion, like there's, they're just all chill. It's just kind of like
Yeah,
this. You can say that with guys too, but it's just like as long as they're not like, like rude or mean or anything like that, or they try to cut off the friendship. But yeah, I kind of just think that like, yeah, everyone can be friends with everyone to some extent, as long as
yeah,
like like as long as you're not blocked, like then yeah, you could be friends with them. Because like once you're blocked, it's over. That's a wrap.
yeah. That's true. But we should also
Yeah.
listen to Tyrone Magnus and what he views the movie
Yeah,
Extinction like.
that dude's awesome. I like his videos.
Magnus
Yeah, me too.
Prime.
Yeah, he's a good reviewer.
Woo!
Funny dude.
More than meets the eye.
Oh my god, he looks so much younger in this
So
video.
what is happening, Magnesites? I'm just getting in, and it is 3:00 in the morning.
He looks jacked
And
too.
I
Yep.
must say, that was the longest action movie that I've ever seen. We all are
Yeah.
targets now.
Yeah, he's funny.
Yeah. I had a Magnesite post.
He's always
on
been
one of
funny,
my
dude.
reviews, like
Oh,
today
yeah.
or yesterday, and they were like, "I already
Ada
saw
and
it.
Atreus had him
It was
on
terrible."
the same week I had the dualies on Brazil.
Halfway through, I was waiting for it to end,
What's that?
and I was like, "I hope just some of them bitch."
You know, last
You're
month
not
on the
telling
12th,
truth.
Oh
they had him on
yeah.
as
Then I experienced it.
When are you gonna have him on again?
As big of a Michael Bay fan I am,
Well, I don't know
must
yet.
say, I, Magnus Prime, was disappointed. It was, I mean, it was a slugfest, a robot fest of a lot of stuff, but the humor that he has in his, first of all, let me say that, you know, I always love to look at Michael Bay movies. Even the explosions with the fireworks. I always thought the fireworks was a little bit too much, but it was chock full of that, chock full of special effects, chock full of the robots fighting. You know, of course, my favorite, Optimus Prime, getting it in.
Yeah.
But the humor, I don't know. The humor was just bad, man. Like a lot of corny jokes that Wahlberg is spewing out throughout the whole movie. You know, it's you know, a lot of father-daughter humor between, you know, him and his teenage daughter and the boyfriend. I don't know, man. I just felt like the story was like I felt like the story was a little jumbled sometimes or kind of all over the place. I mean, am I right in saying that? I mean, are the people watching this just like, yeah, it kind of did feel all over the place. You know, I mean, it felt extremely long. It felt similar to how it felt when I watched Revenge of the Fallen. And Revenge of the Fallen felt long to me. And this felt longer than Revenge of the Fallen, man. Like, I mean, I was geared. Man, look, I came ready. All right. I went to see the 11:15 IMAX. And I'm gonna tell you, your favorites is in there. Bumblebee, he's in there, but everybody's getting destroyed. I mean, the whole premise of the movie is, you know, people feel they don't need Autobots anymore. You know, they destroyed New York City or Chicago, wherever they were. They destroyed the city, and I mean, they were hunting. They were hunting Ratchet in the movie. You know, as you know, Ironhide's already dead. And I mean, they basically find what the Transformers are made of. Because they figure, hey, we can make our own. Now, you've seen all that in the previews. One of you asked me, do the previews show too much? No, they don't. There's plenty in there you do not fucking see in the previews. Trust me. I heard people in there saying, it's a $30 movie. You know that, right? Before it even started. So I'm like, nah, I didn't know that. I got a similar feel of that Man of Steel did, even though I love Man of Steel. It was kind of like, it felt like just super packed with a lot, you know, of explosions and special effects. And, you know, the Michael Bay humor is in there, you know, it's there non-fucking stop. And a few times I laughed, but especially with the whole Mark Wahlberg and the dynamic between him and his daughter, the jokes just kept rolling, and it just wasn't funny no more at one point. Prime's new form, I do like that. They hint at the Quintessons. They definitely talk about their makers. You were built. You were not born.
Yeah.
What's his name? I keep forgetting the fucking bounty hunter's name. I know it, but I keep
That's
he said it plenty of times in the movie.
so
He's
funny.
a fucking joke. You can fight. How
Lockdown.
how the Autobots recruited the Dinobots, I didn't expect. It was like totally different than what you would expect. And the way it happened, I felt it was kind of shoehorned in the end a little bit, the way it happened. I don't know. I just expected it to happen a different way, and I didn't realize that they were already in a certain place. And I was just like, okay. And who knows? Maybe Unicron is involved. I mean, the ship that you know, he had, you know, it definitely reminded you of Unicron sucking up stuff, and it just was a fucking long ass movie, man. I'm very tempted to say that it's my least favorite out of all of them. And I feel bad saying that because y'all know I like Transformers. Y'all know I like Michael Bay, but this is man.
Oh shoot!
I like the way it
No.
I did like the way it ended.
Oh man.
There was
You okay?
Yeah, I just got
It
kicked
was
from my
kinda cool to
match
see. I
because
like
I'm
how
I'm
it
on
ended,
Marvel
it was into the
Rivals.
prime,
I'm like
saying
AFK in the
Oh,
wins.
You know what I mean? That's how it ended,
oh,
which was pretty
sorry.
cool. And it was like,
Yeah,
wow, okay,
this
all
game's really
right.
finicky with
He's
that.
Optimus Prime. He's going to do some damage. You know what I'm saying? Prime is no joke in this movie. Bumblebee is no joke in this movie. And John Goodman, he played Prowl. Totally different Prowl than what we're used to seeing. And
Hound.
I liked it. I liked him a lot, actually, in the movie. A lot of you were wondering if Galvatron would make an appearance. I'll just let you see what that's all about. And that didn't come about the way I thought it would. It was just a mishmash of a few things. And all in all, I'm pretty unsatisfied. I gotta say, I gotta give it like a slightly below average rating and give it a C minus Magnacytes. I'm sorry I could not come in and be as excited as I was for my Man of Steel review. If you want to see my Man of Steel review, I'll put that in the description so you can see the damn difference in the energy. And it's not because it's 3:00 in the morning. It's just that's the way it is. So, all
Yeah, he's
right.
funny.
I can't do it too loud because my neighbors are
3 a.m.
1 million subscribers. Woo!
That was his
He
review on Age of Extinction.
Did he always have
Now
that
we
short
can,
hair, or like,
yeah, his hair was shorter back then.
like
Now we should go on
like
to last night.
I need to look at a picture of him. Let's see. Tyrone. Couldn't even think of who I was talking about. Oh yeah. Yeah, his hair is different back then, like compared to now. Like he actually it grows out a decent amount. Like it's just like a buzz cut.
Uh-huh. Yep. And now we come to the last night where it starts off with how it all turned out in the Middle Ages in Britain. And Stanley Tucci was cast for the role of Merlin, which was, and which,
Oh,
oh
that
my,
guy's so good in Game of Thrones.
Stanley
Oh wait,
Tucci.
wait, that's the last night. What the heck?
Yeah, that's what we're on.
I don't remember
This,
that part at all. What the heck?
this was the beginning of the movie in a flashback with Merlin and how he became the wizard, how he became a wizard
Like,
with the help
like
of,
the thing with those Transformer movies is like they're just like so forgettable. Like, because like nothing really happens in them.
yeah,
Like,
it's crazy too.
except the well, I mean, I guess all of them kind of have something that happen in them, but it's like most of the stuff like that happens is just like you just forget it really fast because like it doesn't really like have that big of an impact. Like
Hmm.
you just like they made those movies way too long because like I think each one's like 2.5 hours, right?
Yeah,
It's just like a lot of dialogue and like
yeah. Rocket Raider
yeah.
said,
I think I seen
I,
the third one in the theaters. I thought it was pretty cool at the time. But I rewatched it recently, like it did not hold up. But yeah, man.
yeah. I mean, the dialogue from the Knights and Merlin was completely ridiculous. I mean, what the hell was going on with with them? I mean, what in the world?
Yeah.
It's terrible dialogue at the beginning. Seriously. Oh my God, it was such a mess. Yeah. But here we fast forward to the modern day plot of the film where we where we come to Chicago, where
Yeah, I
we
don't. I was gonna say I don't even
George
remember her in
Christina
that
affected.
movie.
That is Isabella Merced.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is
I
the movie
know.
that,
Yeah, I
yeah,
know who she
this,
is. I don't remember her in that movie at all. Like, except maybe like the part where I think he's like fighting, like he gets out of like the ocean, and he's like fighting another like Decepticon or something. I think she was like there, like
yeah,
on like the shoreline or something. Maybe Mark Wahlberg was there too. I don't really remember though, because I watched those movies so long ago. Like this was like
mhm.
maybe like 4, 5, 6 years ago. Like that's how long it's been.
It's been 8 years ago since this movie's been out
Right.
in
Like that's why
theaters.
I'm saying like it's not like I don't remember anything about that movie or Age of Extinction.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, this movie was a big wreck. I mean, it starts off with her losing her robot boyfriend, and then Bumblebee had to come to their rescue and
Yeah.
with Kate coming in too. I mean, they even made Bumblebee 100% unkillable in this movie by making him get back up and rebuilding himself. Mhm. I mean, what in the world? Bumblebee was unkillable when the TVR blew him apart. He rebuilt himself automatically. Jeez, I mean, trying to mix all that comedy and seriousness together. My God, oh my, Jesus Christ! You would not believe how big a mess it was. I mean, comedy was atrocious, especially with Hound and Drift, with the way they treat Day Trader. Oh my God, gee, seriously, the way they threaten each other, ki- threaten to kill each other, and start blowing things up and setting things up and blowing and shooting things up. My God, seriously, and I I can't believe made made Drift lose his shit over a mini Dinobot flying on top of his foot. Jeez. Yeah, Drift. Yeah, man, he and Hound were nuts and the complete nut bars. I think Bay was so done with TF at this point. He was just throwing everything he could at the wall because he knew he could. Honestly, don't blame him. Yeah, I hear you, Rocket Raider. I mean, my God, the studio was out of control. They've been going Superman 4 on him where they start to cram things down and make a freaking mess out of everything. My God. Yeah, and they even wasted another opportunity of getting more robots from the G1 source material on the screen. I mean, Day Trader, really? What about Rekgar? Couldn't give us Rekgar. You had to give us another made up robot Paramount. I mean, wow. And someone for him to, and for a character to get bullied too. Wow. I mean, jeez. It was nuts. Starscream's head. I mean, Buffalo? Really? It was Chicago, damn it. I mean, who was writing this thing? Who wrote, who would, who the hell would write the word Buffalo in it and not Chicago? I mean, what in the world? Man, characters were acting rude to each other at the same time. God. Oh, and Cade even had another, but I mean, gee, characters and Autobots were being rude to each other, strangling each other, hitting each other, and torturing each other. My God. As for the Decepticons, my God. Whew, man, they even tried to go, they even went, I mean, this movie even tried to pull off Suicide Squad 2016 with some of the scenes and stuff. What in the world was going on? Yeah. crackheads on set. Yeah, yeah, I know. Yeah, this was definitely suffered the same as Superman 4 with so much studio intervention. Yeah, Megatron also blackmailed government officials into releasing some of his fellow Decepticons from captivity. I mean, Nitro Zeus was cool. I suppose the reason for him on his design was to replace Shockwave, Soundwave, and Starscream at the same time, all meshing them together into one with those looks. But and as well as bringing bringing one called Dreadbot and Berserker into the mix. I mean, this right here, these were the Decepticons that appeared in the Last Night movie. Wow. I mean, then they have Galvatron go back to being Megatron. Wow. I mean, how? My my gracious, goodness gracious me. God, so much studio involvement. And what the hell what have they done to Onslaught? I mean, Onslaught is the leader of the Combaticons in the G1 cartoon. I mean, why Paramount? Why wouldn't you do him as a mobile missile launcher?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, long haul. I mean, he kind of looks like long haul retooled. I mean, why make him transform into this tow truck when you could have done him as a missile launcher? I mean, my God, look over here. This is what Onslaught transforms into. Onslaught turns into a mobile
Ah,
missile launcher. I mean, wow. I mean, they couldn't even afford one of these, that they had to go with a tow truck. My God. But anyway, moving back on, Megatron and the crew of Decepticons he got out of solitary confinement started chasing after Cade and his crew and gang. I mean, also, if you've seen that part where with Isabella Merced coming out and confronting Megatron, I mean, what in the world? I mean, what in the world was that? Making her come out and confront Megatron. Wow. Also, for Megatron, while the Autobots fled the junkyard to get away, I mean, wow. They even made him pick up Starscream's head in this movie, too. Shame the screenshot's not that big enough. Yeah, at least the Combaticons were given justice in the Cybertron games. Exactly, Rocket Raider. They should have gone with the Combaticons. Instead, I mean, that would have saved them money, but the studios execs got greedy and they took too much control. I mean, their shareholders drove them out of control into wasting so much potential. Anyway, Megatron loses half his gang and flees along with Barricade and Nitro Zeus. Then Cade and crew starts running into the TVR, but all along the way, they meet Cogman, a butler bot. The butler bot called Cogman was in the elevator with them, and he starts getting reckless and attacks Cade. I mean, jeez! I mean, more a rough housing Autobot. Jeez, and such just for over Cade being rude to him. Wow. But either way, Kay was able to get onto the drone that was controlling the rest and destroyed it. After that, they had to flee the place. They had to leave the country and head over to England to continue their quest to find and stop Quintessa from destroying the planet. Yeah. Yeah, and Quintessa, I mean, I think she was teased in the I think she was teased in Age of Extinction when she was dropping bombs on dinosaurs and stuff. She was played by Gemma Chan. A pretty yeah. The butler bot was at the absolute worst. Straight up, exactly, Rocket Raider. I mean, wow. Just wow. My yeah. A butler bot that is whack. I mean, wacky and loses his shit. Yeah, Quintessa was the villain of this movie. I mean, what happened to the actual quintessence? My God. Also, becoming Cade's new love interest was the lovely British actress from Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2, known as Laura Haddock. She was the female lead of this movie. Ah, oh, oh yeah. Sorry about that, but yeah, I know. But but how else? She was brought in by, she was she was a college professor that got herself kidnapped by Hot Rod, summoned by Odin, if you might say. Odin actor Anthony Hopkins was Odin in the Thor movies, and he was Ed.
Yeah, he's a
Wait,
good actor.
yeah. Oh yeah, and evil Optimus Prime was built up so much in the marketing only for him to be evil for 4 minutes. That too. Yeah, I hear you there. Yeah, they don't seem to. Yeah, and here we've got the last night with Edmund Burton. He was kind of the comic relief kind of guy. He even had his own. He even had the actual rounds table in his quarters with him in his castle. And boy, having it Hot Rod kidnap Vivian. Wow. I mean, jeez. I mean, all the recklessness in this movie, and for what? To go Dutch on everybody? Wow, it was so crazy. Yeah, it's some comedy was crazy, laughable yet, and just and terrible yet. It was able to gross past 600 million. Yeah, yeah, and they started to twist things up in history too. Wow, man, it was such a mess. This movie was. We, we at least we got some cool ones like Dragon Storm. Now, now we go to the ah. Oh, yeah. Now we come to London. Now we come to the chase scene in London where Anthony Hopkins was having the hell of a time of his life, riding Hot Rod, only then to start laughing at his butler bot blowing up police vehicles and cutting him off. And wow, man, Bay turned Anthony Hopkins into a nut bar. Yeah, he was funny and nutty. Yeah. Oh, yeah, let's go to that. Yeah, let's go to that scene. Yeah. Oh, yeah, let's Let's check it out, guys. Oh yeah, and Rocket Raider said the scene of him explaining the Wiki Guild and its history alongside Bumblebee finding Nazis makes me want to never see this again. Yeah, I hear you. I mean, trying to insert so much propaganda, and God, you ruin the escapism and the experience just by injecting real life stuff in. And oh, and here is Edmund Burton. Yeah, let's check this out real quick. Oh, let me just mute the thing, but also be quick. Gotta be quick. Don't let copyright take you down. Oh, God, these things don't seem to. Oh, yeah. And let's take a quick look and then get out. Yeah, look at that. I mean, what in the world is this, guys? I mean,
No,
him
that was
laughing at
so
road
bad.
rage.
I remember that part. That was so bad.
I can't
Like, what
believe
were
it.
they?
They
Like, what
made
were
him a
they
road rage
thinking?
nut bar. Yeah, totally road rage nut bar in this scene. My God, he sure did it, overdid it. Yeah, and that's what Tyrone Magnus meant by the comedy was so atrocious. Yeah, yeah, poor Tyrone. But let's get back to the part. Yeah, this is the staff. Now let's get back to the staff. Yeah, yeah. Later on, Vivian and Cade entered the night chamber where they came across the staff. And down there was Optimus Prime taking the staff and then fighting Bumblebee.
Hmm.
Yeah, fighting a nemesis. Bumblebee fighting nemesis on top of the chamber out at sea. But then before he could impale, Bumblebee then regained his regains his ability to speak. But he was voiced by someone else and not the same one from the first film. Even Barricade was back in this thing too.
Yep.
Yeah, and then Optimus was then ambushed by Nitro Zeus and Megatron, who take the staff from him. And the Knights wanted to kill him, but were stopped by Cade. I mean, I don't know. I mean, for him to start bringing that sword out now with the talisman and not later during the final battle, I mean, what was the point of giving him the talisman when it wasn't going to do much good?
Right.
Yeah, such a man. They seriously never thought things through that much. But now we come to the final battle where the Autobots and the human forces team up once again against the Decepticons, who are now being led by Quintessa. Yeah, they were fighting in the sky now. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, they were flying in the sky, assisted by the knights, who turned into Dragon Storm. Quite cool and epic, nonetheless.
Oh man.
Yeah, the Nightbots turn into Dragon Storm. Then there's the Unicron being the Earth plot going nowhere. Just watch TF Prime. Yeah, they took it out of that show for Unicron, like they were in such a frickin' rush. My God,
Hmm.
this movie lacks substance of a strong plot. Yeah, the fight was somewhat didn't last long. Dragonstorm and Optimus took out Infernicus, while Squeaks plays a part in shutting down the main cannon. that was deployed. Then they tried to blow the chamber out of the sky with physics, which literally did not work. And that made a dumbass out of that nerd guy. But Vivian goes into the chamber with Cade to have their final bet into the activation chamber to battle Nitro, Zeus, and Megatron. In the activation chamber. Yeah, it was just these guys that were on the field. Not much of an army. There wasn't much of an army there for them to fight. Wow. Yeah. Then Optimus and Megatron had their fight. Megatron loses to Optimus, and Nitro Zeus, this badass Decepticon, ends up getting killed by Bumblebee instead of Hound for no reason, when they could have just had Hound blow this guy to Kingdom Come instead. Anyway, but also at the end, Quintessa ends up getting her ass handed to her by Bumblebee, shooting her in the back, staying like a bee. Then they stopped the initiation chamber with Vivian's help, and the Autobots all got out of the ship with them. And wow, yeah, they all reunited on the ground and were willing to head back to their homeworld to rebuild Cybertron now, which was now close up in the Earth's atmosphere. Ah, yeah, laugh my ass off. Nitro's they tried to copy Suicide Squad, one of the most bland hero movies ever. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. They tried to. Yeah, they were because Suicide Squad was trying to copy Deadpool. Yeah, it's these goddamn shareholders who are making them do the copy and paste shit and shit. Pardon my language, guys. But wow, the movie was such a goddamn mess. And now before we conclude, we should listen to what Tyrone Magnus had to say back after he saw it, and he was sure not as happy. Yeah, he was completely depressed and disappointed. Let's have a look.
And I am extremely disappointed.
What the heck?
Yeah, this is his reaction after watching the last night.
Oh man, he's got like extra depression right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try my best to do a movie review. It's 1:30 in the morning. I am extremely tired and I am extremely disappointed.
What?
What are you still doing here?
Oh,
You still have not
damn
downloaded
these
Pi Ad
goddamn
Block? You
ads.
know I'm just going to keep
Sorry,
showing up on your
guys.
screen until you.
Just put an ad blocker on. Like it's
Well,
under
that
your
would cost
extensions.
money. That
No,
costs
no,
money.
it doesn't. No, it doesn't. I have some. Like I'm using some on Microsoft Edge. Like
I'll look into
you
it.
don't need to pay. Yeah, like I could. Yeah, like I could send you. I could tell you which ones to download. Like, hold on one sec.
Yeah. Meantime,
Like I don't know if you want me to say it on stream or just send you the link.
well, you can send it to me on Discord. But for now, let's hear Tyrone Magnus. Let's hear Tyrone Magnus.
Yep. Here, I'll just send you a picture. It's fine.
Okay.
So that I can recap so that you understand my stance on the Transformers movies. I loved the first, liked the second, even though many hated it. Truthfully, it was an okay movie, if I want to give the truth on the second one. Third one, loved it. Fourth one, did not like it. I was heavily disappointed. I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it. There were a couple of scenes that I liked, but that was about it. And this one, as far as I'm concerned, was worse than the fourth. I don't know where to start. And it makes me feel like Wahlberg and Hopkins did it for a paycheck or as a favor. I don't understand it. You know how when Independence 2 came out and Will Smith wasn't in it, and people was like, "Yeah, you got hold of that script." And he
I never
was like,
watched
"Nah,
that
fuck
movie.
that." Like I felt like that's
Yeah,
where
well.
Tyrese was. He was like, "Fuck that," because he wasn't in it. And then Hopkins and Wahlberg was like, "Well, Hopkins did it as a favor, and Wahlberg was already under contract or something." Like I just don't. The comedy was absolutely atrocious. It was horrible. I didn't laugh at a damn thing. I laughed once. Once. And I can't even remember what it was. But the reason why I'm telling you is because I was surprised when I laughed. I was like, it perked me up. I was like, and then I remember realizing to myself, that was the first thing I laughed at in this whole movie. Special effects for the most part, were top notch. It still had its similar look to some of the stuff from the fourth one, and the whole story is basically that they need this specific relic to save the Earth from a specific attack, which you saw in the trailers, and I don't know if this is going to be mullet style or not. I will tell you at the end. I mean, the action was. It reminded me a lot of the fourth one, as to where you were kind of wondering where the action was going to end on some points. I liked Wahlberg's character a lot more in the first movie. I did not. Something was. I don't know who. I don't know. Sometimes you wonder. I mean, you're the director may ask for a specific way for you to act, and that's the shot that they want. That's the take that they want. And I'm like wondering like who wrote it and why the lines. Like it was so like hokey, like and campy. Like the jokes were so bad throughout the movie. And the only thing that y'all know me well enough to know that the only thing that I liked, and it was true. I mean, the best parts were with Prime. He isn't in it as much as you think he's going to be. The fight between him and Bumblebee. And there's like another part where the best parts in the movie. And I really did like that fight between him and Bumblebee, especially the way it ended. It was perfect. I just really liked how they did that. But I don't have it in me to give the best review that I can give. My mind is so just tired and agitated. Maybe I'll do a live stream where we all can discuss it tomorrow, but I'm giving this
Switch to the Google Fi Wireless Flexible plan and only pay for the data you use. Get unlimited.
1 out of 5 woos. And I didn't buy the fourth one, and I'm not going to buy this one. I've watched the fourth one a couple of times on Hulu, like just looking for certain parts that I thought were cool in the movie. But as a whole, it's like this, man. I just will let you know that certain characters do show up in the movie. One particular character does show up in the movie, but not quite in the way you thought it would. But it is an Easter egg. It is a Easter egg to something. There's a couple of Easter eggs in there. But and y'all know from the trailer. I mean, you know, a lot of y'all talk trash, but oh, God, they came and go see the movie now. So they put anything in the trailer. You have no idea how much they did not put in the trailers. You have no idea what you're in for going into the movie. Okay. Yeah, the irritating kids were in it. The girl was in it. Wahlberg's love interest, so to speak. I mean, she was hot eye candy, but you know, with Hopkins, the legend that he is, you know, it was like, why are you even in this, sir? Why are you even in this?
Yeah.
The Sector 7 dude's back. I never remember his name. He's back, you know.
Wow.
Oops, spoiler.
This movie did not make
He's in
Tyrone
all.
that healthy. Made
I'm
him too
so
unhealthy.
sorry that I just can't form, you know. I've been doing movie reviews long enough to where you guys, you know, look, I always say I'm not a movie critic, but I'm a guy that watches movies and I give you my opinion, you know, and I just maybe tomorrow when I can think straight and I give a live stream review, I'll be able to give you more info or how I think you know how I feel. I mean, I just wish Barry Allen would have showed up and you know disrupted the timeline, and I got a flat tire and wasn't able to make it. Okay, I just, you know, but the best parts about it were Prime. You know, Peter Cullen as always does a great job with him, and but seeing the ruthlessness of Prime, seeing him with an edge, it was pretty cool to see him like that. Him and Bumblebee were the stars as usual. I cared nothing for the rest of the characters whatsoever. Okay, nothing. Hated that robotic butler that you saw.
Yeah, me too.
And, you know, a couple other characters may have had kind of cool moments. But from the beginning, man, like the first 5 minutes, I'm like, oh, here we go with this campy, hokey ass comedy bullshit, which didn't need to be, and then it would just permeated the whole movie.
Yeah, comedy killed it.
I am Magnus Prime, and this marks a sad day in Transformer history. I will sign off for Magnus Prime because did I say Optimus? Did I say I was Optimus? I can't remember. But Optimus Prime will do the honors since my brother Magnus Prime does not have the strength. 10 million subscribers. Doing.
Wow. He sure the hell wasn't happy, guys. Yeah, man, all the execution that's been going on for that movie literally destroyed it. I mean, turning their back on the source material to use actual G1 existing Autobots and Decepticons who haven't been utilized yet, and having meshing too much of everything with comedy and stuff. My God. Wow. Yeah. I hear you, Rocket Raider. I wasn't happy either. I know. Much of it was rushed, like your head's been banging against the wall or something, like you don't know what the hell you're doing. Yeah. Wow. My God. Poor Tyrone Magnus. Even Katie told me once last year that she never saw the last night. Yeah. Yeah, she only saw 4 out of the 5, including the guys at HMDS. And boy, Hollywood really has gone down the rail since 2017. Started taking a big fat ass nosedive or something like that. Where people are being alienated by studio execs like a bunch of jerks who think they can do whatever the frick they want. Wow. Great stream tonight, guys. I look forward to having you again soon. Uh, yeah. Be sure to like, share. Oh, yeah. The last night is like the sequel trilogy, absolutely unwatchable. Yeah, I agree, Rocket Raider. Just like the Star Wars sequel trilogy. Thank you. Be sure to tune in again for more in the
Yeah, those
future, guys.
sequels were trash. For the Star Wars movies, like the Force Awakens was like the only decent one.
Yeah,
Like they had no idea what they were doing at Disney. I mean, they still don't. But it's
exactly.
like if they got like someone like me working there, they would be like okay. I really don't know if I want to work with any. Like I could easily work with any of those studios. I just don't know if I want to.
Yeah, I
Like
hear you.
like I'd probably work for certain companies.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I'm not gonna name any of them on the stream for obvious reasons.
yeah, neither am I. But anyway, thank you guys again for coming aboard. I look forward to
Mhm.
having you again in the future.
Yeah, no problem.
Take ca-
Anytime.
Yeah, take care, Spy. And see you again too, Tommy Doyle. We'll see about getting Steph on here someday, maybe later this year as well, as soon as I earned her trust too. Everybody, make sure
Yeah.
you like, share this video, and and subscribe. Sergeant Garatina's mission here on Bayverse Transformers stream is complete. Take care and have a good night, guys, and peace out.
Thanks. Have a good one, everyone.